Folks, welcome into your Tuesday night here on WCBS. This is Prime Time Live. Yes, we used to have an introduction, and we'll have one again, but our friends, the copyright overlords, keep telling us that our music's just a little too similar to something that's completely different. But alas, instead of fighting all that, we'll just switch it up a little bit. But folks, I'm your host, Jeff Hicks. You know me from such things as those Ollie's videos and my comic books. And you'll know me soon for my new one, which will be available in a few short days. But I am not alone. Tonight, I am joined by three men, because here we go right here. First up, from the Great White North, say hello to the one, the only, the Script Doctor.
Hello there, eh? How's it going?
Would you be offended if I introduced you once as our favorite hoser from the North?
I would not be offended at all. That's a very apt description.
All right, cool. That's how I'll describe or introduce you next week.
Oh man, yeah, I own that stuff. That's great.
YouTube's favorite hoser.
Now, usually we introduce this on the podcast as that man chuckling in the background, but today it's not the Bombay bad boy himself, Big Rig Nick Utab. It's all the way from the Rippaverse. Say hello to Andy Andrew.
What's going on, guys? It's great to be back. I'm excited for tonight's show. We'll see if we actually talk about the thing that's advertised. I have a feeling every single one of us is going to do our damnedest to avoid that criffing topic because none of us want to talk about it.
It's a clickbait title. That's about it.
Yeah.
It sounded, well, the thing is, it's not even our clickbait title. It's from an actual article. I didn't make that up. And finally, folks, say hello to, well, I can't say he's from the Great White North, and I can't say he's all the way from the Rippaverse, but I can say he's from a place that I used to live in, and I don't miss it, but he's a hell of a dude, and we're always happy to have him here. Say hello to Mr. Aaron Sparrow.
Yes, I am here from California, and we are waiting to find out whether or not the electorate is smart or if the electorate is stupid, and whether they've sided with Gavin Newsom or common sense.
Wait, there's a chance that Gavin Newsom can leave?
Yeah.
No. I mean, he's going to be leaving when he inevitably runs for president and tries to rail the country the way he's railed the state. And I don't mean high-speed rail because that thing has not happened, even though they've poured billions and billions of dollars into it.
They have like 20 feet out there, right?
Yeah, there's they've laid one piece of track, as far as I know.
That's been going on since his predecessor.
It's and he's on his I think he's coming up on his 25th year anniversary of his 10-year plan to end homelessness, and homelessness has doubled. So it's great. But I am here and I am ready to go. And I heard Jeff talking backstage about Remington Steele, which blew my mind because I didn't think Jeff was old enough to know about Remington Steele, and he's not, but he does.
I was not around for Remington Steele, but there's one thing you got to remember. I love James Bond, and anything that a James Bond actor was doing before he was playing James Bond, I'm into. Like, I like The Saint with Roger Moore. That is a very good show. Well, yes. Before my time, but I have watched quite a bit of it. And anything really like espionage or spy or spy-fi, as they call it when it gets a little more science fiction-y, I'm on board. If it would be, I don't know if the market's too saturated, but I'd love to do a comic like that down the road. So you never know.
You do it anyway.
I'm actually not surprised because knowing Remington Steele is indeed world class.
Bingo. If my camera was on, you would see that my pinky is raised, but I don't know why. I had a long day and I was running late, so I didn't have time to put on anything classy or even shave. So I'm just chilling off camera tonight, folks. But we have a big show planned for you. We're going to talk about some things. We might talk about the local Cincinnati school board election. No, we won't. I'm joking. But we have a word of the day up first. I know Andrew's so disappointed. He's like, Jeff, I needed to know if that levy was going to pass, if those kids were going to have school funding.
It was a nail biter.
I don't give a damn about the kids.
I mean, it is a nail biter. That's the thing,
Well, look, if this was a presidential election, I'm sure we'd all care. But it's your local government, so you'll probably read the news in the morning and go, oh, well, darn, moving on. But in reality, folks, we have our word of the day. And if you're hungry, I recommend you don't partake in today's word of the day, because that word is gravy. Gravy horizon. That sounds good. Shallow gravy. Not in this house. Fistful of gravy. Debbie does gravy. My black ass presents Dion Green and two white women. One gravy cup.
Wow.
That's almost a like Japanese anime title with how long that is.
I think we should make it into a comic book where Dion has two white women robots that serve him gravy. There
Yeah, I
you go.
kind of support that.
Clear and
I
present
am-
gravy would be interesting.
Yeah, how would you make clear gravy without a fat? Never mind. I took it too literally. Let's see.
7
Gravy
gravies
juice.
for 7 brothers.
There-
Dude, where's my gravy?
Young gravies.
Bridge on the river gravy.
Gravy in the hood.
Vanishing gravy.
Event gravy.
Gravy on a plane.
Gravy horizon.
Great. Yeah. As soon as I said event gravy, I was like, Gravy Horizon was a better one. Script understood the assignment there.
The Gravy Hillbillies.
Indiana Jones and the Temple of Gravy.
Ooh, yeah.
Is it like turkey gravy or? I'm assuming this is all like sausage breakfast gravy.
I'll see that, Andrew, and I'll raise you Harry Potter in the Chamber of Gravy.
Oh, my man.
Well, I'll take both of those and raise you one Kevin Costner classic, Gravy World.
Well, isn't there
Gravy
one like
World.
Harry Potter and the Goblet of Gravy?
Is that better? Is that a better Kevin Costner than Field of Gravy?
Oh.
Well, you just
Better
had a
than the
field of
post gravy.
gravy.
You don't want that.
Yeah, but
Gravy of Dreams. This is the gravy.
Gravy of gravy.
that movie's so good.
Silver gravy.
Let's see. Dial G for gravy.
Oh, that's a good one.
There's something about Mary's gravy.
The most dangerous gravy.
Ah.
All right, guys, one more each. We'll do, for me, I'll do Nightmare on Gravy Street.
I'll do the Gravy Strikes Back, which sounds like you had a bad Thanksgiving.
The naked gravy from the files of Police Thanksgiving.
That's good. That's good. Mission Impossible Gravy Nation.
There we go. So much gravy, folks, that it's going to clog an artery. But we have a couple of weeks until Thanksgiving, so we will be here until your Thanksgiving holiday, and then WCBS will take off that week because who's going to look? We know you love us, we love you too. But it's Thursday. It's going to be turkey and football, and you're going to have that tryptophan in your system. You're going to be falling asleep. So we're going to be falling asleep too, and full of gravy and stuffing and all that wonderful stuff. So here's your heads up: we will not be here on Thanksgiving. But then again, we've been doing this for 10 years, and we've never broadcast on Thanksgiving. Maybe 1 year we'll change it up for you.
Yeah, just tune in and just see everybody on WCBS lying back on the couch, asleep, with their pants unbuckled. Just
Yeah.
I don't know. That might be a popular show. Kind of like, the log on the fire burning for Christmas. You just have 4 guys just passed out on the couch, and they're each in each of their living rooms.
wasn't there a comic artist that was streaming drunk and then just passed out and like the stream was just still going?
Are you
would
making
not
fun
be
of my
surprised.
Halloween stream?
Did that happen?
Oh my! Well, it's happened to me many a times on this channel, but I wasn't doing anything comic related. Sadly, we were watching movies like Slumber Party Massacre.
Oh, that's good.
No.
That's not bad.
It was terrible, but I had a good time. I'm kind of okay that Halloween's over, though. This was the year I tried to get into the spirit, and I just couldn't do it, guys. Like, every week I was watching multiple horror films. I was trying to do marathons. You name it. I was even trying to get, like, spooky snacks. I'm not, like, against it. It's still my favorite holiday, but this was a year where I was like, I'm okay if Halloween comes and goes quickly. I'm tired of it.
Yeah.
I know.
Fair enough.
Got a lot of others. Yeah, it was weird.
Yeah, it's been harder and harder to enjoy Halloween over the last few years when there's so much reservation when it came to the types of costumes people are quote unquote allowed to wear. That kind of took a lot of the fun out of it. Like you couldn't be a fun like zombie Indian anymore.
No, I know. I saw a lot of Gen
Not
Z.
with that attitude.
I saw a lot of Gen Z in blackface, so I was like, "Oh, nature's healing."
Oh, minstrels, huh? Okay.
Yeah.
If I had trick-or-treaters come up to my house and they were like teenagers in blackface, I would still give them candy. I would just be like, okay, kids, somebody else is going to beat you up later. So here's the Snickers bar.
Like, stay safe out there, kids. But
Candy and some alcoholic face wipes, just in case.
Just give them dude wipes. There you go. Just like, here, your ass, your face, it doesn't matter. Wipe up.
No, I think, I mean, it wasn't done in like in a way that, like, I mean, they didn't do the full like minstrel like mouth and everything like that. It was just you know, they were dressed up. It was whatever. And I was just like, yeah, you know what? I think everybody's just done with the woke scolds.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. Which is good for all of us because, like you guys have said, it means society is healing. We were so restricted and self-censored to a fault, and sadly, the entertainment is still like that. But I think people are just fed up with this, like, I don't want to call it, what's the right word for it? Just this overtly censored society.
It's like pseudo-puritanical, right? Like there's some sort of like ethereal thing of this means to be a good person, and the definition of it changes so much so that even if you were like, you know, your favorite movie was Mary Poppins and you wanted to be the chimney sweep, you would get accused of being, you know, a racist.
Yeah. Old Bert, he's as white as they come.
Yeah. I think, well, once we got to the point, I think, where the people who were 10 years ago considered like far left were suddenly being accused of being far right because they were to the right of Mao and Stalin. You know, all of a sudden, I think a lot more people that made up the more like general center, even if they leaned more one way or the other, started to just be like, yeah, I'm kind of over this. Like, I don't care anymore. I'm done with it.
Well, you've got your people that are, you know, that are just sheep and will just go along.
Yep.
You know, because, and then you've got your people who will not be commanded and will not be controlled. Mm-hmm. And then you've got, you know, people in the middle who are just like, it just took a long time for normies who are living their lives and going to work every day and providing for their families. It took them a long time to see how bad things were getting. And once they saw and they were like, oh no, we're not doing this. That was pretty much the end of it.
Mm-hmm. It takes a long time to catch up with those types of cultural changes because you're so focused on the responsibilities you have at home, and the people that are pushing those cultural changes have no responsibilities while they have so much free time where they're able to amplify those strange points of views. Yeah.
For me, the breaking point was, I think where I was really like, okay, you know what? I'm totally done with this was when the girl wore the Chinese qipao to her prom.
Oh, right.
And then she got
that was several years ago.
My culture is not your, you know, prom dress. When we started with that, and then you had people, you know, in China, and you had like actual Chinese people coming out and go, you know, that weren't Americanized Chinese people coming out and going, I think she looks great. I'm glad that she's celebrating our culture. You know, you had the guy who wore the serape and the sombrero, you know, that went to the college campus and is like, is this offensive? And all the college students are like, you know, yes, it's very offensive. You know, that's not your culture. And then he goes down to Olvera Street and he's talking to all the, you know, people that are actually from Mexico. And he's like, does this offend you? And they're like, no, you look great. You know, you even had the director of Book of the Dead come out and say, you know, Mexicans, we actually love sharing our culture. We love to see people, you know, sharing it and celebrate it. And you know, it's so, you know, just you just need to back off. And invariably, it was just always a bunch of white Karens that were, you know, bitching and complaining. And, you know, oh, let me be offended for you, you know, stand
by the power of white woman. I'm offended upon your behalf. Right?
Let me be the one that protects other people's cultures while not trying to create anything useful in my own.
Exactly right. So, yeah, I think that was where I was done. And I think a lot of people followed suit.
I was done as soon as I started seeing people identify as trans when I know for a fact they weren't. Because I know some that legitimately are, and they are trying to stay out of everybody's way. And then you see the people that are clearly taking advantage of a movement for whatever type of nefarious things they want to do. And you're like, yeah, no.
I think Family Guy summed that up really well when they had, you know, I'm sorry, ma'am, you can't watch porn at the bar. Oh, it's okay. I'm trans. Oh, I'm sorry. I didn't realize you were trans. Go ahead and do what you want all the time.
Yeah.
You know, that's what it became. Is it just became this, you know, this way to kind of like, oh, I will force my way, you know, and do whatever it is that I want, and everyone will have to, you know, bow to me and accept, you know, everything that I do. And it's like, no, it's not how society works, and it's not going to be how it works. We're not going to do this.
And if
No.
we didn't have such abuse in our mental institutions, they'd still be around today, and these people would get the needed help they deserve.
Yeah.
Well, since we're talking about some of these changes, I just wanted to bring this to your attention since, Andrew, I know you love this movie.
It's
Did
my
you guys
favorite
see
comedy.
Have you seen the new disclaimer on Rush Hour because it's offensive?
Oh, no.
I did not because I own the DVDs.
Well, this was on the USA Network. Let me read this for those out there watching and not listening but not watching. It says, "We all love 90s buddy comedies, but this movie was created in a different time. FYI, certain depictions, language, and humor may seem outdated at times and offensive."
Wait, it's a 90s comedy that was made at a different time?
I guess so.
After every disclaimer, can we just cut to Rocket Raccoon going, "Oh, goodness me, my nipples"?
I just love how, as people, average everyday Joes, are fed up with this crap. You got these people that are making these stupid decisions. They're still grasping at straws. They're still clutching their pearls. Oh, think of the children. Somebody could be offended because of
I
what
grew up
Jackie
with this
Chan
movie.
says in the bar. Like, yeah, shut the fuck up, Karen. Like, really, that is the bane of all of our problems in society. It's not this or that. It's just the crazy Karens that have nothing better to do. They're ruining our Cracker Barrel. They're ruining all the restaurants. They're ruining Bud Light. All this shit. Actually, Bud Light ruined itself. It's Bud Light. But my point is, you get these crazy
drink
Karens.
cheap domestic light beer. I don't know.
If I'm gonna drink a cheap beer, I'm gonna drink a Modelo. Okay, it's not a sponsorship. I just love it.
Okay. All right.
It does taste legit though. I brined a turkey in it last week. It was fantastic.
Oh,
But
that
that's
was
a
probably
topic
pretty
for-
good.
dude. And then the leftovers yesterday. Oh my god. I've been cooking a lot. People are like, "Hey, what you been up to besides the book? Cooking." There you go, folks.
Nice.
If you want to know what Jeff does in his free time. But yeah, I'm with Elizabeth. I can't stand all these stupid trigger warning. Fuck them. I swear, if somebody would get offended, let's say I ran USA Network, and so they're like, "Mr. Hicks, we had 13 calls and 27 tweets about Rush Hour being offensive." I would say, okay,
Change
and that
the
would be the
channel.
end of it. Yeah, no, I wouldn't even address the people. Like, this is a movie that's almost 30 years old. If you're now offended by a movie that's 30 years old, shut the fuck up. And I'm sorry for cussing, folks, but this is how it like, really pisses me off. Grinds my gears, if you will. Because this is the kind of shit we don't need to worry about in this world. We have other problems, bigger problems, real problems. But Jackie Chan said the N-word in Rush Hour. Well, tough shit. Chris Tucker says it in a bunch of other movies. Eddie Murphy says it. It's just it's a line in a movie. Unless Jackie Chan's out there dropping
Dave
it on
Chappelle
people,
says it every fifth word.
it's his catchphrase. At this point,
And he says it with a hard R.
I tell you, he does. Jackie Chan did not say it with a hard R. It was a strong A, a long A, if you will.
Yeah.
Ga. He went all the way with it.
Yeah, but in some Chinese cultures, that's the same as saying
Mm.
I'm not kidding. Like, that's literally like how they kind of bridge those gaps. But I will say, if anyone complains to you or anybody else in the world that says, "Oh, this thing was really offensive," just respond with the Wayne's World Garth meme. Thank you, and just move on. Well, like whenever someone says, I love you, Garth, you be like, "Thank you," and then you just move away.
I say that all the time.
In point of fact, I was in the car with my friend and her mom the other day, and they were speaking Chinese. And when we got out of the car, she was like, "Oh, I'm sorry, like if you felt like left out of the conversation." I said, "No, I was enjoying it." I said, "I was especially enjoying how many times it sounded like your mom said a slur." And she was like, "Oh," she goes, "That's and I was like, "No, I know." I said, "But it's just funny." I was like, "Ooh, like that's you gotta watch where you're speaking."
Don't be in Oakland when you're talking.
People will
Oh
misinterpret
yeah,
that.
don't do that.
I mean, don't be in Oakland anyways. But
I was gonna say you're better off just not being in Oakland, just kind of as the baseline.
Yeah, if you find yourself in Oakland, something has gone horribly wrong.
Yeah,
For all the years I lived out west, I never went to Oakland once.
good.
and that's good. Yeah, like there were many years when I first moved to the Bay Area that a lot of places in California were still very nice. Actually, probably for the first decade I was there. Oakland was not one of those places.
No. Yeah.
Now,
That's-
our friend Xavier to God has a question for us. What era of Toonami did you guys grow up with? Was it 97 to 99 with Moltar, 99 2000 with Tom 1, 2000 to 2003 with Tom 2, 03 to 07 with Tom 3, or 08 with Tom 4?
Yes. I was there
The
for
answer
all
is
of it.
all for you.
I grew up with all of that.
Don't quote the deep lore to me. I was there
I was
when it
gonna say,
written.
yeah, yeah. Do not recite the deep magic to me, which I was there when it was written. Get out of here.
So, Xavier to God, I did watch the first era with Moltar, but when I was religiously watching it, it was 99 to like, I'd say '03 is how long I watched Toonami for. And then I had a job in high school, so I started buying anime DVDs. And if you know anything about them, they were like $30 for like 2 episodes or 3 episodes on a disc.
Yep.
So it was more like a, hey, I'm going to get this every once in a while type of thing.
Mm.
And I
At the
would save the
Suncoast
rest
Motion Picture Company.
That's exactly right. Dude, when I got to college, we went down to our local mall, the Meridian Mall in Lansing, and they had one of the last Suncoasts in Michigan. And we used to go there and buy movies all the time. Like that, there you go. You want to talk about age, Xavier to God? I started college and Netflix streaming didn't exist. Netflix existed, but it was only DVD. So we used to go buy our
I remember
graduated
Netflix
college
when
before
it
Netflix
was
existed.
yeah, you just had the Netflix like rental boxes, before Redbox.
Yep.
Somewhere around 2012, Jesse Snyder and I were brought out to like either the first or the second Rose City Comic Con, and I was like basically like Jesse's, just filling in for Jesse's manager, and Jesse was hosting a bunch of stuff, and we went to the mall because there was a Red Robin, and we were walking around the mall, and they still had a Suncoast Motion Picture Company, and I was like, oh my god! And so we had to go in and everything. I think they also had an Orange Julius, like a full Orange Julius. So it was
So
a
did
little
my
bit,
mall.
a little bit behind the times, but I loved it. It was like stepping into a time warp.
We here in Ohio, we had one of the last Suncoasts ever. Like it didn't close until like I'm pretty sure this channel existed as that Suncoast was still open. So it's been a while, but that was the best. That and Media Player are my 2 best stores.
Pour one out for the Suncoast Motion Picture Company in the chat, guys.
I know, right? Folks in the chat, what would be a store you would bring back if you could? Let me know. Like I said, Media Play. That's me all day.
Tower Records is pretty cool.
Oh yeah.
I don't think they're still around. I'm pretty sure they're gone.
In Canada, we had Future Shop, which was way better than Best Buy, and then Best Buy bought Future Shop.
And made it lame.
Yeah, pretty much. And then, shuttered it out and then got lame, very lame.
And now Best Buy is pretty lame itself. Hell,
I was gonna say they have
by us exist.
They have like nothing now.
Yeah, I think you can get like a couple of game consoles and some appliances, basic appliances. That's it.
TVs.
If you want to buy a big TV,
Well,
Yeah.
it's where you go. It's like the showroom that you go to that gives you free Wi-Fi so that you can shop Amazon. While you're actually like see it while it's there. You're like, oh, okay, let's see. It's cheaper on Amazon.
That's pretty funny.
yeah, you're not wrong. I have done that many a time where I've gone into the store and price matched and walked out.
Oh, dude, yeah, price matching at like your big box store is a lot of fun because the staff are helpless to do anything to resist.
Yep.
Look, I do that at conventions too. If I'm walking down the thoroughfare and some guy's selling an action figure that I think is pretty cool, but I think his price is ridiculous, I'll just go to see like, oh, this is only $30 on wherever, and I'm sorry, but I'm not going to pay that convenience upcharge to be at the con. Now, if somebody's got a great sale or a great deal, or even retail, like I picked up this Beetlejuice figure earlier this year, and I'm like, well, that's retail price. I'm buying this shit right now. Like I even told the guy, thanks for having a decent price on it. So I like my people, but I don't want to pay too much.
I went into Ross today because, as you guys know, both Jeff and I like to hit the toy stores and hit the discount stores and see what toys there are there. And I unfortunately don't have Ollie's out here on the West Coast, but I went into Ross and they had a bunch of He-Man figures today, like the Masterverse figures, and they're all figures that I already have. But I bought every single one of them and just took them right down to the church and dumped them in the toy drive bin. Because I was
There you go.
Let some kids play with He-Man and Skeletor. It'll be great.
Right on.
That's awesome.
I respect it.
Oh, I am all about that. I gotta do our yearly WCBS toy stuff. I don't want to send them a bunch of Shurikopters.
Don't do that. That's that. You may as well give him coal.
It's a shame that like Wolverines and Spider-Mans never really end up at Ollie's because like the good toys
because they
the kids
actually
want.
sell.
Yeah, they actually move. Don't send them Eternals, Jeff. Those kids have suffered enough.
Oh man,
I would never.
Well, you send them bad toys with fireworks, and you hope that they piece the two together and realize that they can have a really amazing time.
But they have to send somebody has to give them the matches because it's a criminal if you give them the matches. Or it's crime. Anyway, I'm gonna give them good stuff. Like they got a lot of wrestling figures. Like what kid wouldn't want a Cody Rhodes or The Rock or somebody that's like actually legit? So we'll do some fun stuff with that, folks. The closer we get to the holidays. 2022, I think we raised like $1,000 on a live stream. So it'd be cool if we could do something like that. And it was directly through Toys for Tots because YouTube lets you donate directly, so we don't have to deal with anything like that. So, folks, we'll let you know more about that later. It's Christmas. It's meant to be for the kids,
I always wish I could go because this particular the church sends it to. They have a church that they built in Zacatecas, Mexico, and those kids are really, really poor. So it's like it's funny because the pastor always says to me, he goes, saw a bunch of Marvel toys in the toy drive there. Is that you? And I'm like, yes, that's me. And he's like, I knew it. But it's like I buy stuff all year long, and then I have it for that toy drive, and I've always wanted to travel down there and just watch the kids actually receive the stuff. I think that'd be magical. So maybe
probably be super fulfilling.
Mm-hmm.
Xavier God, thank you very much. He says, did you have any thoughts on when Toonami was canceled in 2008? When it came back in 2012 with Tom 5, did you guys also see the Intruder specials?
I'd already stopped watching TV basically at that point.
Yeah,
so
lost me there.
I didn't watch. I'll tell you this, Xavier God. I was at WrestleMania when it came back in 2012. It came back, I think it was April, whatever. It was the weekend of WrestleMania 28. So I was focused on The Rock versus John Cena. But I had stopped watching by 2008 because
once in a lifetime.
College. Yeah, dude. But it became a twice in a lifetime event, which I was there for both. No, Xavier God, I watched it pretty regularly. Then I got into more of Adult Swim stuff when I was in college. So that was 2007 when I started. So I didn't really watch much Toonami. It was the dude down the hall had all these anime DVDs. So it's like if we're gonna watch Afro Samurai or Trigun or any of this shit, I would just go down the hall to hang out with him. And then I had my Lupin stuff. But no, I wasn't really watching it. But I've watched a lot of specials on the whatchamacallit, the Tom history and all the specials and stuff. I was just sending a message to my colors, guys. Anything else you guys want to say?
No, 2008 was probably around the time that I had pretty much cut the cable cord, and at that point I was already pretty deep into my early years of my screenwriting career, and I was just getting sent direct links to basically servers and media servers with stuff to watch and put comments on. So I got to see a lot of cool stuff. And may or may not have copied that for myself.
Okay. Sorry. Like I said, I was just sending a message about something, multitasking.
That's all right. But you got a book to finish.
I do. The book is finished. It's just the color on the cover, which needs a little more refinement because it looks good, but it needs a little more. Anyway, I'm being a perfectionist now. I did come up with a different cover, which has pushed me back just 2 days, but I'll save that for another time, Andrew. I'll tell you off air. You'll like it.
All right. I'm here for it.
I mean, I'll be showing it within a couple of days itself, so you'll be like, oh, okay, now I see why you upgraded it.
I know this is off topic, but you were talking about being a perfectionist, and can I just vent something that really grinds my gears?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
When you get a message on social media from somebody that you don't know, but they send you a private message and it's just hi or hello.
Oh gosh.
I'm not going to answer
you. You want me to commission you for something. How about you have the balls to just say, hey, I am a commission artist. I would love to do a piece for you. Can we talk? Instead of pretending like you know me and you care about my day.
Yeah, just be about your business is what I'm saying. Just open with, hi, I'm so-and-so. I saw this, and this is what I want to offer you this, or I want to see if you're interested in this. Just tell me what you're about. I don't want to go back and go, hi, and then have you go, how are you? I'm fine. What do you want? Like, just, I don't want to be rude. I try to be nice to everybody that messages me, but it's happening all the time.
Yeah, I don't respond to those messages at this point. I'm like, nope, not doing this.
Well, because that's verbal conversation. When we're in social media age, we're in this is like email correspondence or any type of correspondence. It's, hi, this is my purpose for contacting you. Thank you so much. Have a great day. This is not, oh, I just bumped into you off the street and go say, hey, how you doing? It's like, that's where you do that stuff. That's how you can actually instigate a conversation, but it's not the same verbal use that we use with each other in person does not sadly count when it comes to social media or email or chats or anything of that nature. It's just, it's not how it works. I don't want to be getting 40 messages of someone saying, hey, how are you? I'm doing good before I even respond. Like, I hate that. I even have that at work. I have some people, instead of just telling me, oh, we have this problem, they're like, hey, how are you doing? Uh-huh. What do you want? Like, my time is money, man. It's like, and then they would say one sentence for every text message at a time. So I have a wall of sentences that could have been done in a single paragraph, and I could have answered every single one of them or solved whatever problem it was instantly, but I had to wait for every subsequent message because the person thinks that this is a verbal conversation and not an actual like memorandum.
I know that I'm just getting old and crotchety, but like I'm also annoyed now when someone just calls me out of the blue like a psychopath.
Thank you.
Text me and ask if I'm available. What is this just call out of nowhere?
I hate being interrupted by phone calls so much.
As if it's the 1990s and my phone is on the wall. Dude, stop it. Tell me what you need.
I have a couple friends that I'm hesitant to respond to texts because they take that as, oh, you're free to talk right now. And it's like, no, I'm eating dinner. No, it's 11:30 at night and I'm awake, but I don't really feel like talking right now. Like,
yeah.
I
am not like available at your beck and call 24/7.
My rule is that
I just don't want to talk on the phone to anybody.
I hate talking on the phone.
I'm fine with talking on the phone. I just have a rule. Do not call me unless it's an actual emergency. Other than that, let's schedule an actual phone conversation because time is I'm in crunch time a lot these days. So it's just I don't have the casual thing. Oh yeah, I can answer a call and have a little bit of a small talk or shoot the breeze. No, sorry, I don't have that now. I would much rather schedule a time where I can dedicate that time to actually having a fun conversation with you. And yeah, unless it's an emergency, I'm not answering.
Yeah, my time is so scheduled out that it's like, it's just let me know what you need and we'll schedule a time for it. If it's an emergency, I'll jump on it right now. But otherwise, like, assume that I am busy and I'm working on something. Anytime you talk to me, I am in the middle of something.
What is that line from Office Space? Every day you ask me, is it the worst day of my life? I say yes. Every day you call me, is it the worst time to call? I'll say yes.
So every time you see me, it's the worst moment of my life. And it's like therapist is like, wow, that's messed up.
Dude, I love that movie so much. I was an oddly cynical child. I was cynical to the ways of the workforce, even though I hadn't entered it yet, because I saw that movie when it was fairly new. But that movie still resonates with me. Like, I love Office Space.
I was in the middle of corporate culture when that movie came out, so it especially resonated with me.
I've always wanted somebody to ask me if I have a case of the Mondays. Because I just want to go, nah, just like in the movie. But
I believe a man get his ass kicked asking something like that.
Diedrich Bader, he's the best.
Oh, yeah.
Great.
I love the, it's like, well, not every chick is interested in money. Well, the kind of chicks that would double up on a guy like me are.
Yeah.
It's fair. It's a fair point.
Hey, Peter, don't that chick look like Anne? That's the one movie in my collection, like, I haven't upgraded the Steelbook because I'm like, what more can you add to Office Space? I already got it on Blu-ray. Like, it won't look any different.
Yeah.
But, let's see. Xavier to God, thank you very much for your other message. He says, Toonami came back because of Adult Swim. Adult Swim used to be the tits.
I was all about Adult Swim at one point. That's how I met Quentin Tarantino, was while standing in the Adult Swim line San Diego Comic-Con.
Did he look at your feet funny?
No, he came wandering. So a group of us were standing there, and he came wandering up. This is before Kill Bill came out, but he was actually there like promoting Kill Bill. But like he didn't have like a lot of hype. I mean, you could still like Rosario Dawson. I might have told the story before, but Rosario Dawson was just walking around. Like that was when Comic-Con was still kind of chill. You could still walk up to the event and get tickets on the day. And so we're standing in line for Adult Swim because Martin Croker and Andy Merrill were there, and they were selling like a Bracken and Zorak statue, and I was like, I want to get those statues and have them signed. And when I got home, I realized that Andy Merrill had not signed my statue, so I got to track him down. But I did get to see Martin Croker before he passed away. But you had like Debbie from C Lab was there, and Jackson Public and Doc Hammer were there, but Venture Brothers wasn't out yet, so they just had like little Adult Swim cards they were drawing sketches on. So I have a sketch of Dr. Venture and a sketch of the Monarch, before I even knew who those characters were. But Tarantino just wandered up to us, and he was like, "Hey man, what's this line for?" And we're like, "Oh, it's for Adult Swim and blah blah blah." And I mean, I knew who he was, and he was like, "Oh, cool," And then he was like chatting with us for a minute, like really like kind of awkwardly, and like 2-3 minutes go by, and then he was just kind of standing there with us, and then he was like, oh, "Okay, thanks," and like started to wander off. And my friend Marie goes, Should we have invited Quentin Tarantino to hang out with us? I mean, that was weird, right? She goes, "I feel like he doesn't have anybody to hang out with." and I was like, yeah, that was kind of weird. And then we always felt kind of bad because we were like, we should have probably just said like, well, do you want to like be in line with us and just hang out and go meet these people? But it was just so weird and awkward. It was just a really strange thing.
I feel that.
He's only famous and rich.
I think that's pretty cool that you got those two Venture Bro drawings before the show officially premiered, because I remember when that came out and that was a brilliant comedy, and I still love that show to this day.
Yeah, there's a lot of that in Kneel Before Doomface. It's one of the inspirations for it.
Yep,
that's cool.
So now I want to watch Adult Swim shows. Anybody else watch Super Jail? That show was crazy.
No, I was out by that point. Like I got up to like the Squidbillies, when that came into the block, and then that was pretty much the end of it. I kind of stopped watching.
Squidbillies is a hard show for me to watch. It's just like I like dumb stuff, but certain shows like Squidbillies and Home Movies and they just look too dumb.
I loved Home Movies just because of Coach McGurk, which is where John Benjamin got his start.
He's good. I do like him.
Brendan, come here. Look at this tattoo. He's like, I got drunk. I went down to the tattoo parlor. I asked for the Chiquita Banana Lady. My body is covered in food mascots. Don't be like me, Brendan.
H. John Benjamin is the epitome of a guy who does not look like his voice matches his
Oh,
body.
yeah.
No.
If you ever get a chance, Jeff, look up. There's a sketch where he was on a show called Human Giant, and there's a sketch where he's a Bruce Willis impersonator, and so he shows up at the birthday party looking, just wearing the tank top and the pants with no shoes, but otherwise it's just H. John Benjamin. He doesn't really look like Bruce Willis at all. But the joke is that the buddy that they hire, whose birthday they hire him to come to, thinks it's Bruce Willis and forms a friendship with him. And is just like, yeah, I'm best friends with Bruce Willis. And they don't have the heart to tell him until they find out that, like, the dude's borrowing money from him. And, like, it gets really ridiculous really fast. But it's a great sketch. And it's just H. John Benjamin going, "Welcome to the party, pal." And he's like, "Oh, my God, he said the line."
Let's see. Xavier God also says, isn't it crazy that Cena is retiring before Jericho? Yeah, I mean, it's not really crazy. Jericho has outstayed his welcome by like a decade. Like, I know his AEW run is considered great to some people, and I'm not going to sit here and shit on one of my favorite wrestlers for like an hour, but I will say it started strong, and then it fell off when he was doing that Clockwork Orange shit and the Tree of Knowledge and all that. Like,
yeah.
Every time I would tune into AEW, Jericho was doing something dumber than the moment before, and I went, well, it's still Y2J. He's still one of the all-time greats. I'm just going to let this one slide. But, yeah, it is bizarre, but I'll give Cena credit. And I'm a big John Cena hater. Like, go back in time. Listen to me talk about him.
Let's go, Cena. Cena sucks.
Yeah, he has redeemed himself to a lot of people, including me. And the fact that he knows it's time to go makes me appreciate him more. Because I know that I've lived through the worst era of John Cena, and that it'll never get worse. So,
You think his last opponent would be The Rock, so they could pay off that great final boss storyline.
Mm.
Remember how good that was? When John Cena
it was
turned heel?
something. I literally watched a video on that while I was cooking this evening about how shitty the Cena heel turn was.
I remember when it happened, people going, "This is a even better heel turn than Hogan," with the NWO, and I was like, "What?" Like even then, before we had gotten to all of the disaster, I was like, "No, this isn't gonna pay off well." I just have a feeling, and then it didn't. We got Travis Scott at WrestleMania.
Most people who say dumb shit like that are the people that weren't actually around to say the other thing.
Mm-hmm.
Fair.
Hogan's heel turn was huge, cataclysmic at the time.
Yes, Xavier to God, that's who I was watching. V and Fuso. That was it. You win. But no, the Cena heel turn, the best part of it was when Cody Rhodes told The Rock to go fuck himself. That's the part that blew my mind, because he just said it like, "Rock, go!" And he just like screamed it. And they didn't censor it. And I was like, wait, what? That's what blew me away. Not Cena kicking Cody Rhodes in the balls or something. That was the part that stuck with me. But it's rare that a piece of entertainment can be riding so high in terms of quality, and then it's like the next day it falls apart. That's what I feel like with this. You might say like, well, Disney Star Wars is terrible. Yeah, but Star Wars slowly declined for a while. It wasn't just like you woke up one day and it was Rey. You lived through killing younglings, and you lived through episode 2 and all that other stuff.
Oh, it was still making money hand over fist though. My buddy worked at Lucasfilm.
I was buying it all.
Yeah. Like, I mean, did the prequels? I mean, were they what I wanted them to be? No, but what I was getting at the time? I was getting great prequel novels of the Clone Wars. I was getting great comic books from the Clone Wars by John Ostrander and Jan Dracema and Dark Horse Comics. So it was like filling in all these gaps. And plus, once they kind of got past the initial Gendy Tartakovsky line, I mean, they were still like regular Star Wars figures, but they were tied into that line.
I remember those.
Yeah, so like they were hitting, and it was like, but and it was like, oh, Dirge is cool, and like all the and you were tracking down Asajj Ventress. But once they really like started to gear up and get into that, you got some really good stuff. So when my buddy worked at Lucasfilm at the time of the sale, and he said like for like a month, everybody at Lucasfilm was like, why is Kathleen Kennedy here every day? What is she doing walking around? And then George had a meeting where he was like, yeah, I'm selling the company. And he was like, look, we're on track to make it was something ridiculous. Like, I mean, don't quote me on the exact number, but he was like, we haven't made a movie in years, and we're going to make $40 billion this year, or just something ridiculous, some ridiculous number, $10 billion, whatever it was. And he goes, and I'm getting older, and I don't, I'm not going to pass this on to my kids. And I don't know what to do to keep everybody employed except to sell the company. And so, but they were still making money hand over fist. And within 5 years, Kathleen Kennedy destroyed all that. Because remember that interview where Lucas was sitting there going like, she's like, well, George will be the keeper of the flame. And he's like, yeah, I'm the keeper of the flame. And he didn't sound like really enthused, but he was like, yeah, I'm just here to, like the repository of all the knowledge. And then, they did that whole interview. And then like a month later, it was like, oh yeah, George is out. And we're just going to do what we want to do. It was because he had ideas for the sequels, and they were like, no, we're going to do something for the fans. Thanks for doing something for me, the fan. Because I would have rather seen what George wanted to do, but with a director that was interested and that could direct people. Because that was the problem with the prequels is, you didn't have Kasdan coming in and beefing up the scripts. You didn't have the time. And then George directed it himself, and he couldn't be less happy. You watch those documentaries. And that was kind of the beautiful thing about Lucasfilm is they had the balls because it was owned by George to pull back the curtain. Like he had no problem with you seeing him sitting there and then telling you like, yeah, it's like we do this, and mostly I just sit there and look miserable, because it's like he wasn't enjoying directing. He didn't want to. It was Spielberg's fault. Spielberg was like, no, you got to get back in that chair, George.
Well, that and also Ron Howard said, I don't feel confident trying to create your vision for a prequel film.
Yeah.
Like, that was the other part too. And I mean, Lucasfilm kind of fell a little bit apart when Gary Kurtz was, subtly pushed out of the way, because he was the guy that was able to get the best out of George as a producer and even as a director.
Mm-hmm. No, but then you got Rick McCallum, who was just a yes man.
Yeah, like amazing producer, but yeah, a huge yes man. And then his interesting withdrawal from Lucasfilm mere months before Kathleen Kennedy is announced the new president after the sale has always been suspect to me.
I mean, who could have predicted how bad Kathleen Kennedy would actually turn out to be?
That would be
I
hard.
didn't expect it. I thought we might get. I was actually kind of excited because I was like, clearly, like George has kind of like lost the passion. This was after Kingdom of the Crystal Skull, which was awful. We didn't know how much worse it could get, obviously, with the Dial of Destiny. But at the time, it was like, oh, this is abysmal. And then he like made Red Tails, and nobody liked that. And I think he was just like, well, obviously, I'm not the guy to do this anymore.
I didn't hate Red Tails. I saw it in theaters.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I didn't hate it.
Good, but I didn't hate it.
No, I mean, and like if they put out Red Tails today, it's better than like a lot of the slop that we get now. So by comparison, and that's why people like I think go back and they look at the prequels fondly, aside from the fact that they were maybe kids when they came out. But it's because it's like you've seen how much worse it can get, and now you go, oh, maybe this thing I thought was terrible is not so bad. It's still not great, but it's better than what you're getting now. And in the prequels,
terrible.
There is within the prequels there is a good story there.
Yes.
It's just George didn't focus on the things that were interesting to me.
That and a little bit of the character drama was just not as palpable as what was in the original. I mean, starting with Anakin as a kid, as opposed to, I would say, lean into what the story Luke was told. Make him an actual criminal, a spice runner with his uncle, and he's a navigator on it. And then he's given this opportunity to come to the light side, so to speak. And then he ends up falling back into darkness. Like, have a little bit of truth in the lie that Uncle Owen gave to Luke.
Mm-hmm.
And you'd have fun with that, because how often would it be? He's a spice runner. He's now, instead of smuggling spice from planet to planet, he's now smuggling like a politician from one planet to the core, and he ends up falling in love with her on the way there. And how do you reconcile that? Oh, how could a politician, a prestigious politician, fall in love with a criminal? And now you have a parallel between Leia and Han at the same time. Like so much stuff you could have.
Yeah, really, it's like poetry at times.
Anakin being a charming rogue.
Yeah,
would have done so much more than him being a petulant child. And even like I don't know where I saw this, but I remember seeing an interview where Lucas said that like when Hayden Christensen came in, his idea was to play Anakin as very kind of like dark and brooding and kind of quiet, and George was like, no, I just want him to like throw tantrums and be like a petulant teen. And but to his credit, George said like, in retrospect, it was a mistake. He probably should have let the actor do what the actor wanted to do instead of trying to force him into something else. I think that even that would have played better. But I think the mistake was, let's do the first movie where he's a little kid. Yeah. And we didn't need to meet him as a little kid. Like if we would have met him as a young man, you don't have to have the lore of just because Yoda says too old to begin the training. It's like Luke's in his mid-20s at that point. If you had Anakin as like, a teenager on a spice freighter, and that's where you started the story. It would have worked a lot better, and you would have had time to actually get to the parts of the story that people were interested in, which was actually seeing a little bit of Vader.
And make Beru a Skywalker. Why not? What's wrong with that being Anakin's sister?
Yeah, better than the Immaculate Birth.
It's better than the Immaculate Birth, and at the same time, I mean, you could say, like, why is she so kind of supportive of Luke for wanting to be a pilot? Because her brother was. There you go. And she decided to stay home. Maybe she just didn't have a force sensitivity, which was a thing in the novels for a long time before they started doing the midichlorians and every blood relative has powers of the force. Just have it that way. She preferred to live on the farm with Owen, and Anakin was like, no, I still like my, space jockeying ways, and I want to go on an adventure with Obi-Wan Kenobi and see where that leads me.
I was traveling once, just apropos of nothing, since you brought up midichlorians. I was traveling, and I'm in a hotel. It's about 2:00 in the morning, and I'm talking with a friend on the phone, and there's a knock on the door, and I go, oh, hang on. And I go over and I answer the door, but like my friend, she can still hear me on the phone. I answer the door, and it's one of the hotel employees, and he's just got kind of like this little smile on his face. And he goes, yeah, I just wanted to call and tell you that, or I just wanted to come by and tell you that one of the neighbors complained that someone on the floor was yelling about midichlorians. And I was like, oh, that's me. I'm so sorry. He was like, yeah. And he goes, yeah, I know. He goes, don't worry. We all feel that way. But I just get real passionate about that stuff, or at least I used to.
I did too. I was just so disappointed 26 years ago when that one came out. So even as a kid, I hated those movies. That's why I take the stand I do, because I get it. People like them, and some people, we grew up with them. But at the end of the day, it's like, is it really good, or is it better than what's after it? And it rolls into one ball, and you can't really get away from it. It's I don't know. It's a weird argument to make, but it's better than talking about the Snyder Cut moment that we'll eventually get to at some point. But let me address our 2 messages that rolled in from our friend Overkill161, who's a member of the channel. Thank you, Overkill161. Gravy Baby Movie Edition. Boss Gravy. Look who's gravy now, and 3 gravy and a baby. I just like that title, 3 gravy and a baby.
Well, it's a lot cleaner than 3 men and a gravy.
3 men, some gravy.
I feel that just sounds wrong.
Yeah,
three men
that sounds really wrong.
So, you requested a number 82, so let me count backwards. And here we go. Here is your number 82.
Yo, Joe, first off, you want to work out with me? Take your clothes off and lay on that bench.
Whoa.
Seriously, take your clothes off, lay down on that bench. You want to work out with me?
No.
No, I don't.
That's on the soundboard where the guy was calling the gym. You want to work out with me? Where's Joe? He's fat.
He's fat. Love that clip.
I'll make a bleed. All right. So up next, we have one from our friend John Thomas. Thank you, John. John says, anyone else see the new Jen Law clip where she's fighting with a guy and a girl while she's naked? LOL, what movie is that? One where she's a cougar. Oh, new J-Law clip.
That's No Hard Feelings. Yeah. She was naked and punched someone in the groin. And
I hear it was a body double, though.
How
No
naked
idea.
was she? Are we talking
full.
like...
She was full frontal. I mean, Jennifer Lawrence has no problem showing her full frontal body. It's okay.
Well, once it got out during the, what was it called, the fappening, when all those celebrity things got leaked, like and just like everybody was naked on the internet. Like I feel like all bets were off with some actresses that like hadn't done nudity before in film. It was just like, well, it's out there.
Well, she did it before earlier in like some sort of Russian spy film, I think.
Oh, I know the one
Red
you're
Sparrow?
talking about. Yeah,
Red Sparrow. Yeah, that's the one.
An embarrassed Aaron?
Yeah, I got a lot of comments about that. They were like, "Oh, the Red Sparrow," and I was like, I don't, "Whatever."
I share no relation.
No, she said something the other day that I saw, and I went, you know what? I like you a little more. She goes, I was a really insufferable person when I was younger, talking about like people would ask her all these questions and stuff, and I'm like, yeah, you kind of suck, lady, but now that you're self-aware of it, I kind of respect that. So.
Well, she's aging out, so she's got some rethinking to do.
Yeah, some humility. I mean, I liked Brie Larson when they asked her on the red carpet, you know, you be Captain Marvel again? She's like, I don't know. Does anybody want me to do it?
I was about to say, does anybody even want that movie? Right? That I was like, oh.
People were like, oh, she's being a bitch. And I was like, I don't think she is. I think she's just being really like, I think this is like a self-aware moment.
I was about to say, yeah, I think that was just like her actually just having an off-script moment.
Mm-hmm.
No, she was very different, because I remember hearing some really fun stories while she was on the set of Avengers and Captain Marvel itself. Like she was a team player, good to do that. And I guess once she got onto the press junket, she was told, this is how you have to behave, and went with it, and then saw the blowback and was like, no, this is not good.
Yeah, you got to be sassy and independent and blah, 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 and give it to the boys. And
yeah, like she was literally told, don't acknowledge your stunt person because we want people to think that you did your own stunts. And she was like, okay. And I mean, and stunt people are usually pretty fine with that because their whole goal is like, you should not be able to tell whether it's a stunt person or not. That's how they do a good job. And yeah, like it just, because I'd heard lots of great things about her coming up, because when she was announced as Carol Danvers, I'm like, oh, that's actually a pretty good casting choice. She just did Room. She was really funny in 21 Jump Street and a couple other small things she did.
mm-hmm.
And then
Pilgrim.
Yeah, and then on top of that, you realize, oh, she's the one that asked for a lot of reading material to do research on the character, and so she did that. I'm thinking, okay, this is good. And then you see the movie, and you're like, well, that's not Carol Danvers in any iteration I've ever seen before. And then the press junk is like, well, who the heck is this actress?
I knew that the movie was going to be a disaster because when they said like that she was like checking out all this reading material, I was like, oh no, they're giving her the Kelly Sue DeConnick stuff.
I was about to say they were probably only giving her Kelly Sue DeConnick's like.
There's a couple of
first
pictures
run.
of her with the Kelly Sue comic stuff, and then there's some of the stuff from the late '80s, so like after Monica Rambeau and Carol Danvers is in the black swimsuit stuff that I saw her reading.
Yeah, give her the Brian Reed, Aaron Lopresti stuff. That's what you should be.
Brian Reed is peak Carol Danvers.
But the other part too that also kind of made me scratch my head is that when they're amidst the production, they finally revealed publicly, oh, there's 2 directors on this movie. And it's like, why do you have 2 directors on a Marvel movie? You don't need that. And then when you watch the movie, you realize, oh, one person is directing everybody else, and another person is just directing Brie Larson because she is completely off sync with everyone else around her in the movie. And it's like, why would you give a specific director for one job for one actor and then have another director do everything else? Like, what are you doing here? And that's when I started to see the cracks form in Marvel. Like, I already knew there was some damage already occurring when Disney bought the property, but then you see Captain Marvel and you're like, oh, this is bad. Like,
when I saw the movie in the theater, because I was visiting my dad at the time, or I was house sitting for him. And so I went by myself and I was like, so I paid for, I saw a movie and then I was like, what the hell, I'll go in and I'll see, I got nothing to do today. I'll go in and I'll see Captain Marvel. So I walked in and the scene where Kelly Sue DeConnick, there was only maybe 20 people in the theater because it was early in the day. But the scene where Kelly Sue DeConnick walks by her and is on screen for a split second, someone in the back goes, ugh! And I was like, and in my head, I was like, that there's my people right back there. That's
That's
they
great.
know what's up.
Nobody wanted to see her.
Then I actually did end up seeing it with Aaron Lopresti. I think it was during Comic-Con. I think we went, but we went and checked it out, and he was not, as a guy who had worked on Carol Danvers when she was a likable character, he was not pleased.
I just could never stand that character. Much like Maria Hill in the comic books, when I was reading the books, they had such unlikable personalities, and I would think to myself, I would not read this character if she wasn't in the Avengers. Or, man, I wish they wouldn't deal with S.H.I.E.L.D. in this book. So I was not excited for that movie, but that movie made me, it changed my life for a positive way. So I love Captain Marvel. Yay, thanks, Brie Larson, for, you bought me a lot of shit.
I was okay with Captain Marvel. I was okay with Carol Danvers whenever Frank Cho was drawing her. I can tell you that much.
I still think the best type of visual media interpretation of Captain Marvel's in Avengers: Earth's Mightiest Heroes cartoon series, and for that point also Maria Hill. She was way more. You got a better sense of her personality than in some of the weird Shield books, where she's acting like just a pain in the ass for the sake of it.
Mm-hmm.
That's right.
Somebody's
here.
got
Brian.
some fancy trade paperbacks.
Yep. Oh, these are hardcovers. Brian Reed's entire run.
Ah, there you go.
Yep. This is the way.
This was when that I don't even know who Brian Reed is. Outside you giving me context, I'm like, I've never read that man's work.
That's okay.
I don't know what happened to him after that. I think he got out of comics.
I was gonna say, I have no idea what he wrote after this run. All they had to do, even if they wanted to make Carol Captain Marvel, even if that's the direction you want to go, just have Brian Reed write it, and it should still be likable. And people wouldn't care at the end of the day. I wouldn't have cared. I would have been like, okay, so you gave her a different suit, gave her a different title, but she's still the same person. She's still likable. She still has interesting stories that can be told around her instead of being an insufferable twat.
Oh, I take that back. I read his work. He wrote the Amazing Spider-Man Secret Invasion annual crossover. There we go. And he wrote a lot of Spider-Man. So my bad, Mr. Reed. We'll have you on the channel and apologize to you publicly.
Where are you, Brian? Drop us a line.
Our friend Shrubbles08 says, it's the Christmas season. I'll take a Die Hard button and a sloppy 69. Well, sir, it's not yet the Christmas season. But we are happy to oblige here on the channel because Die Hard is the perfect film for every day of the year.
Class, Who gives a shit about class? Who the fuck is this?
This is Deputy Chief of Police Dwayne T. Robinson, and I am in charge of this situation.
Oh, you're in charge. Well, I got some bad news for you, Dwayne. I'm not the one who just got butt fucked on national TV, Dwayne.
John Cena
That laugh, man.
said that to The Rock.
I would have laughed my ass off. That would have been much better. And then here is, you know what? Since you're in the Christmas spirit, troubles away, we'll give you another Christmas button.
Buzz your girlfriend. Woof.
I've never seen that one.
That's a good one.
Yeah, I saw that toy. I was like, geez, that forehead, dude. Holy crap.
Such a horrible likeness of the actress, because she's actually quite a young, pretty girl. Like,
yeah, they don't do. It's weird how some people, they get the faces just right because they use the same process for everybody. But like sometimes they'll knock it out of the park, and then sometimes with her, it's an embarrassment. It should have never left Hasbro, but you know, whatever. I guess not all action figures are created equal. But folks, if you want to get some quality, equally created action figures, just go to Ollie's where you can buy that Captain or that Miss Marvel figure and her other version and Captain Marvel and
Shang-Chi.
Shang-Chi and what was the black girl's name? Not Quasar.
Monica Rambeau.
Sure.
Yeah, but what's her character's name? It's got like a different name, right, for her?
Oh, Photon.
Photon. Yeah, why is it Quasar?
The
No, not
Photon
Quasar,
figure
different
is
character.
No,
Photon
Quasar is
figure-
the blonde Superman allegory with the two, what are they? The
quantum
bands.
bands.
Quantum bands, yeah.
bands. Mm. Yeah, no, I like Wendell Vaughn. I like Quasar.
So we'll get to our topic in a moment, but like, is Marvel pretty much dead this year? Like, I don't see people seriously talking about it anymore after Fantastic Four kind of shit the bed.
I've only been getting clips, little bits and pieces of stuff for Spider-Man Brand New Day. That's about it.
I finally watched Fantastic Four this week.
And?
It was fine.
Yeah,
there was actually
exactly.
There was actually a couple of moments I really liked. I thought Galactus got shortchanged. He had no real characterization. Like, there was no real anything to his character. Although I disagree with the cast, the gender swapping of Silver Surfer, I thought that Julia Garner, is that her name?
Yes.
I thought she did a good job. There was actually the moment where she kind of relives everything that happened to her. I thought actually that was a good emotional scene. I liked some of the stuff with Ben and Sue, and I do think that like some of the family dynamic stuff came off well. And then the chase, when the Silver Surfer's chasing them and they're like, you know, going around the black hole and everything, I thought all that was really well done. And I was like, man, we could have had a Fantastic Four movie that I really liked. And instead we got one that I'm just sort of like, yeah, that was fine.
It did have a throwback to what I remember the 70s cartoon where they introduced the more ridiculous solution to the problem before they find the simple one.
Mm-hmm.
Because I thought it was like absurd. Like, we're going to move the Earth. What about the moon? You know, the thing that protects us from all the terribleness that's outside. You know,
Are you going to position us?
Being the supposed smartest man in the world should actually take that into equation.
Are you going to position us from a sun, you know, at the exact right, you know, distance and the exact right angle, and with the moon in the exact right position, so that everything? I mean, I know that this is like in the 60s in another dimension, but like you never saw Thundar the Barbarian, you know, unleashing cosmic destruction.
Yeah. Like, heck, even Space 1999. Like, come on.
I do want to show you this, Jeff. Speaking of toys, I just finished the my custom head sculpt today for Cobra Commander. They will not make him with the hood. Because Hasbro is terrified that people are going to think it's a clan hood, which is
it's blue.
It's blue.
And
it's not pointy.
You
know, it's got a cobra on the front. It looks like an executioner's hood, if anything. But so it's ridiculous. So we made this head sculpt, my buddy and I, and you know, we sell it over on Big Hit Studios Customs if you're on Instagram. But I painted one up for the new Cobra Commander, and I'm pretty happy with it.
That looks pretty good,
awesome.
man.
Good match to the color too.
This is if anybody's looking for the color, this is Calidor Blue from Games Workshop. So
Okay.
I forgot to put it in the video this week, but I actually filmed something for you, Aaron. I was at my local Target, and they had a pretty cool Cobra Commander, and I was like, "Do I buy this? Should I buy this?" It was on a vintage card. And
and he has the metallic faceplate, right?
Yeah.
This is the one. There's the
okay.
metallic faceplate right there.
I can understand why a company wouldn't want to put out something that looks too much like the Klan, but when it doesn't actually look like it at all, it's so dumb. It's like with like I was over on the 3POA channel with Laser Pants and it's Chad, and we were talking about how according to rumors that hooded Cobra Commander's back on the table as well as Slave Leia, and it always makes me chuckle that these things aren't really made for kids. They're made for adults that like them, but they're marketed with the sensibility for kids, which is fine because you're like, oh, you want a kid to go into a store and want G.I. Joe and then get the whole line and, buy in early. But at the same time, like, why not just sell it on HasLab? You're going to sell me a $200 Tron action figure set with crappy toys. Why not just put Cobra Commander and his hood on there? Kids can't find it that way. You'll have the same safety protocols to produce the toy, so if a kid does get one, it's not like they're going to choke on it.
Yep.
That kind of stuff is so dumb to me. We're always so concerned as a society. Oh, we have to self-censor. We could be offensive.
You
it's
offered
a bad
Mephisto.
guy.
You offered Mephisto through Hasbro Direct, not even a HasLab, but just like you could only order it through Hasbro with a certain pre-order window. You can do these things. There's ways around it to sell directly to consumers, so it's not on the shelf where some Karen is going to go complain to the manager at Walmart, and then she's going to go complain to her congressman, and then before you know it, it's a big thing. You can do these things.
Well, it would be a lot better, but thank you, Tipper Gore, and all your PMRC bullshit.
I want a Goblin Queen with the traditional underboob. That's what I want from Hasbro. Give me that.
That'd be cool. Yeah.
The Mark Silvestri costume with the underboob. That was good stuff.
Because
I approve.
If it's okay to reprint the comic book, why is it not okay to make the action figure?
Well, it's not even okay to do the comic book anymore because now you have to run it past the all the fat chicks that work at Marvel to make sure that they're not offended by attractive women. So everything gets uglified, and watered down. Nothing.
I wish I was their boss because I'd be like, you know what? I don't care if you're offended. Quit.
Mm-hmm.
You don't offer shit to this company. Like, do they have dirt, or is it just because they're all ideologically on the same page? I mean, it's more of a rhetorical question at this point. I'm opposing, but it's so dumb to me. It's like, look, I am not in shape like Thor, but I draw my superheroes buff, and I'm not like, oh, I don't watch Thor: Love and Thunder. That's the end of the statement. But when I did watch it that one time, I didn't go, oh man, Thor's in such good shape. I'm so upset. I can't watch that movie. No, I either think to myself, man, I should get in better shape, or put on, like, I didn't need to see his bare ass. That's about as far as I go. So,
but when you see Thor, or like I said today, I bought some He-Man figures and took them to the toy drive. You see like the He-Man figure. I never think to myself like, oh, I feel bad about myself now. And if I did, I wouldn't take it out on the toy. I'd be like, okay, that's something I need to work on. But like I think that guys, when we see like Nightwing and Nightwing's being objectified, women love talking about Nightwing's butt. And we're all cool with it. And, we see Nightwing and we're like, yeah, I got to get into the gym. Like it's inspiring to us. But
it is. But then you get, like everyone's offended over Sydney Sweeney's boobs. Why? They're
I'm not.
boobs.
No, no one should be offended over them.
I support them.
You don't have to. They stand where they are on their own.
Yeah,
they hold themselves up quite well.
You'd like to support them.
We all would.
Mm-hmm.
We're all, those kind of people. We like to support. Never mind. I'm not going to go any further. All I can say is, if the powers that be, just didn't worry about the couple posts on the internet that are like tearing stuff down, we'd probably realize that most people aren't crazy and don't have their heads up their asses. So,
well, the powers that be came from the School of Business, where analytics are really important and not so much onto the context of how they function within an intellectual property. So you don't have creatives who have made their way up to editorial who actually know how general audiences respond, know how to appease their core fan base and know how to make experimental things to try and break out of the core fan base and build that up. You have people that are looking at numbers and are seeing any negative impact, like no matter how minor it is, as something that could eventually be detrimental to the company. Like I deal with this from some of the people that work in other fields that come to the company I work for like, commercial advertisements or research or something. And they're so terrified of one negative review. Like if they get one negative review, they got to figure out, well, what happened? Why did it happen? Who's responsible for this? Do we have to get rid of the person responsible for this? Or do we have to like scrutinize over? It's like, it's one review. Worry if you got 1,000 bad reviews, because then you're doing something wrong. But one is nothing, means nothing.
I remember looking at the reviews on Amazon for the Darkwing Duck comics that Sylvania did for the collections, and there was only one complaint on book 2 at the time. And it was a woman saying that, I enjoyed the first volume, but the second one, so we had kind of like a horror story, but it's all very tongue in cheek. It's like the night of the living potatoes. And, but it's like James did like a kind of a Mike Mignola style Darkwing cover. And, so Darkwing doesn't have the eyes, it's just like white eyes. And that she's like complaining about how it scared her child. And then one of the first responses, and I recognize the name as someone who interacts with me on Twitter. They were like, perhaps I can interest you in a character named Lightwing Duck, because she was like, this book is just too dark and it scared my kids. And I was like, if that book scared your kids, you are raising pussies and you need to get on that. Because all of the colors are so bright and everything is so tongue in cheek and so ridiculous. Like you have put fear into your kids with your weird hangups. And then just out of curiosity, I had to look at the other thing that she reviewed, and it was all romance novels, but ones that but then she was complaining about the romance novels that had sex in them. Like she wanted these very kind of...
You're reading the wrong genre, I guess, lady.
Yeah, but she wanted very milquetoast, romance, and it was just like, okay, this lady's just weird. But yeah, it's like, that's the sort of thing that would happen. Like Alex Hirsch has this great the guy that created Gravity Falls, has this great string of interactions that he posted with Disney Legal and the standards and practices. Oh, we can't have this and blah, blah, blah. And he's like, why are we worried about one hypothetical complaint that has never happened ever? And why are we trying to avoid things that have never happened?
Dude, same stuff I used to deal with network censorships whenever I'd be guesting to help out on a show or something. You can't say that word. Why? It's completely harmless. Yes, but in this context, we understand what it actually means, and that's not appropriate. It's like, so you understand it. Doesn't mean that everybody else will. The people who will understand it are the ones you want them to understand it because they're adults and mature. The kids aren't going to get it. And the best part is when the kids grow up and they go back to watch this, they'll get it and they'll laugh and they'll have better memories of that episode and that joke.
John Mulaney tells the story about writing for an award show, and he said they came back to him and they're like, well, you can't use the word midget. And he's like, well, I would sure like to.
Watch me.
And it's it reminds me of Norm Macdonald being on Conan, and he keeps saying midget, and Conan goes, I don't think that's the appropriate word. I think that they prefer to be called little people. And Norm stops and he goes, well, I don't like that at all, Conan. I don't think of people that way. I don't view people as being big or little. People are just people. Only some of them are really short and have big weird heads. And it's just like, the crowd loses it. And it's like, we need to kind of get back to that, where it's like, yeah, you know what? Everybody gets roasted. It's equal opportunity. I'm sorry. If you're offended, get a crash helmet. Life is very offensive. There's nothing in the world when you were born where you were given a guarantee to go through life and not be offended by other people. So just suck it up and deal with it. Get a thicker skin.
Yeah, laugh it off. But I don't know. I hope we're pushing towards that direction. We do have a question that Aaron might be able to answer better. Well, you guys would be able to answer it better than me. John Thomas asks, what is the lore on Galactus? Is he the same kind of being that Star-Lord's dad is? A Celestial? Never understood him.
So Galactus is a being that existed before the current universe. And he is a celestial force. Like Galactus, if he dies, the universe ends is kind of always the idea. He's basically a, what do you call it?
He's an anchor, I think, right?
What do you? Well, that kind of got twisted with the whole Deadpool thing. So people might
not
understand,
thinking
like,
Deadpool wise. I'm just thinking generally.
yeah, like what's the what do you call a support in a building that's like the like that
Foundation.
much important?
Or foundation?
No, there's a specific.
Well, you
word
have a
for it.
foundation, you have a cornerstone.
Maybe like a cornerstone of the universe, or he's a you say that. Oh, you can't knock out that post. That post is a. God damn it! I can't think of it.
Load bearing beam, load bearing post, or
load bearing. Thank you. Yes. Yeah. So he is a load bearing beam in the universe. So if Galactus dies, like everything ends. So he existed before the Big Bang, or he was part of the previous universe, and now he's in our universe. He's like the universal constant. When you think of Star-Lord's dad in the comics is actually Jason of Spartax, who's actually not a celestial being. And Ego in the comic books is not a celestial being. He is actually a living planet, which they kind of touch on in the movie. But so a lot of those things get mixed up. But yeah, Thanos is... The fact that any of those things were able to be done to Thanos, like Invisible Woman pushing him backwards and him having to hold on to buildings... And him having to physically interact with the Fantastic Four and fight them was all like I was rolling my eyes, because I was like, you guys do not. This character possesses the power cosmic. There's actually a really great Silver Surfer book where he's at war with the In-Betweener, and they are both the same size, and they are like wailing on each other physically and slamming each other into planets and things like that. And the Silver Surfer and Adam Warlock are watching, and I think it's the Surfer actually makes the comment of like, it's ridiculous that this is like a physical confrontation. And Adam Warlock says this isn't a physical confrontation. That's the way you perceive it, because it's the only way that your mind can comprehend what is happening. But they're fighting on an entirely cosmic scale that you cannot even perceive. And so your brain is just translating it into something that you can understand. And I thought that was a good cop-out to give us a good physical brawl in the comic book that looks awesome, but also like, deal with the fact that, yeah, it's not just guys punching each other.
Well, it's always cool when they do.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it looks good. Look, you want to see Galactus grabbing the In-Betweener by the back of the head and slamming his face through a planet. You're like, yeah, that looks awesome. This is what comics are all about.
Yeah, it's I'm glad you knew that about Galactus, because I'll be honest. Who asked that a second ago? Troubles, John Thomas. I've always known him as Galactus, the Eater of Worlds. I don't like too much cosmic Marvel. If you look at my comic collection, it's mostly ground, even if it's DC stuff, it's mostly ground level superheroes. Batman, Spider-Man, Daredevil, some Punisher. Like, I don't do, I don't think they're bad books. I think the X-Men go as far as outer space as I get into, outside of like a Star Wars book, because then with the Shi'ar Empire and Lilandra and all that shit, I did like that. But most of it, it's always like ground-based, or, adaptations of old pulpy stuff, more noir comics, all kinds of shit like that.
Kind of avoid the like Nova Corps stuff, right?
Yeah, I don't care.
I'm a Richard Rider guy.
Now we gotta get Jeff into some classic Steve Englehart into Ron Mars into Jim Starlin run of Silver Surfer, so that he can experience some good cosmic stories.
Broaden his horizon.
Mm-hmm.
Look, I like the Silver Surfer in theory. I own a couple of those comics. I'd say a handful. And that 90s cartoon wasn't the worst Marvel cartoon to come out of the 90s. If anything, it was quite interesting.
It was one of the better ones, surprisingly.
Yeah, it had great art.
Had great art. Had a far more authentic interpretation of Thanos. Because Thanos is like very powerful, but he's also got this very strong, pathetic aspect to him, because he wants to bang death.
Thanos is a big time simp.
Yeah.
Yep. He's a cosmic level simp.
And I would have loved it if Endgame revealed that was the underlying factors. Like, yeah, he wants to balance out the universe, but his underlying factors, like, if I do this, not only do I perpetuate, all species throughout the universe, but I also finally get the woman I love's attention, and maybe she'll finally be with me.
Yeah, even after he gets all of the Infinity Stones before the Infinity Gauntlet storyline. But there's a book called Thanos Quest, and it's a 2-part like graphic novel book that they did. And he goes to he's basically going to all of the elders of the universe who all have one of the stones and tricking them and gaming them out of their stones. Really good stuff. But at the end, he's like, finally, he's telling Death, finally, I am a being that is on your level, and And so then her servant is like talking to him and saying like, oh no, like you're a god now, you're so far beyond her, it's and he's like, Thanos is like, why won't she talk to me? And the servant is like, oh well, you're so far beyond her now, it would be she's unworthy to speak to you. So the one thing he wants, he's denied again. He makes the servant explode, and he's just like pissed off at death. And so everything he does is like simping and trying to impress her and trying to show himself worthy of her. And even when he came back, when Jim Starlin first brought him back, in the interim of him being gone, they had introduced Nebula, the granddaughter of Thanos. And that's who she was throughout the comics. But when Jim Starlin came back, he had Thanos. He said, like, this is supposed to be my granddaughter. And he burns her horribly. And then he says, ridiculous to think that Thanos would sire any progeny. And I always loved that line because he didn't have to over-explain it. If you understood the character of Thanos, you were like, that makes sense. Of course he wouldn't, because he worships death. Why would he create life? He wouldn't have a child that would then have a grandchild.
Uh-huh.
And later, Jason Aaron did that and was like, oh, he had a litter of kids all over the universe, and then started killing them once he came to worship death, which, was an okay retcon. It still ends up with the character in the same place. But yeah, I always liked the original version of that.
I need to go back and read more Thanos. I'm a Jim Starlin fan, though. His artwork is thumbs up to me.
I've got the Essential signed by him and Ron Lim. They were both at a WonderCon that I was at. Or show up, maybe it wasn't even a WonderCon, but it was a show up in like San Francisco. And they were like, I was at Artist Alley, and then like 3 tables down from me was Jim Starlin, and then on the next aisle was Ron Lim. And I was like, well, buying this Essential Surfer and getting it signed by both of them. And
it's sad because as a comic book fan and knowing a good amount of my comic history, like I know what Ron Lim has been a part of, but I can't hear his name and not put my head through my desk, because there was a few years where the Archie Sonic comics actually, like, they pulled him in to fill in on the art, and it was the worst those books had ever looked. They looked they looked like absolute trash. None of the characters looked like the characters anymore. It was just like, dude, like, you didn't even look at one single image that has existed over the last 2 decades of these characters and say, I could, stylize a little bit, but it still kind of needs to look like the characters. Nope, didn't do that. He just made it look like asshole.
They all had the same faces, didn't they? Like they do in... Oh my God, I looked it up. Whoa. You're not joking.
Was he inking his own stuff?
I have no idea. I don't remember. I try to remove those from my memory hole because, like, his art was also like on the 100th issue, like this big milestone issue, and he was on the interiors, and it was like, man, like this is the most underwhelming 100th issue you could have possibly. Oh God, yeah, I have to pull it up.
Here it is.
So much. It's so bad.
There's a whole YouTube video. Ron Lim, Archie Sonic's worst comic artist.
Yep.
Oh yeah, I'm looking at it. It's not great. Is it?
Yeah, and I like Ron Lim overall, even though everybody has the exact same face, like in his comic books.
I mean, that's a problem for a lot of guys. Like, everybody loves George Perez, but every one of his women has the same face, and I would say that they were rarely attractive.
Yeah, and this isn't me digging at anybody, but I always thought George Perez's figures had heads that were slightly too big, so they always like looked a little off to me. Because my buddy, like, I met George Perez, he was the nicest dude, and my buddy's like his biggest fan. And I respect him, and I have, I like Crisis on Infinite Earths, but he's not on my list of artists I'm gonna buy. Like if they're doing an artist edition of George Perez's work, he's not on that list. There's like 20 dudes before him, maybe 30.
I got this though. Artist gallery edition of Michael Turner, all of his Marvel work.
Ooh, very nice.
Yeah. I've also got all of his DC work, but that's up on this shelf.
I used to joke back in the day that Michael Turner and Alex Ross should team up, because Michael Turner should never be allowed to draw men, and Alex Ross should never allowed to draw women. Because all of Alex Ross's women at the time were like really manly looking, and all of Michael Turner's men were really effeminate looking.
Have you heard the rumor that Alex Ross models for his women? Like he's the model for them?
No, but that's horrifying if that's true.
I've
seen
like
that multiple times.
That hurts me.
Yeah, his Wonder Woman is like square jawed Kirstie Alley, and it's like if you were taking hot Kirstie Alley and making her Wonder Woman, I'd be fine with that. But like that squared off jaw just does not. She's not feminine. There's no femininity to his to some of his women.
No, I thought Darwin Cook did a good job of making Wonder Woman like big and beefy and intimidating, but still looked like a woman. She didn't
Yeah, I
look
mean,
like
I love me a Big Barda. I love me a.
I love Big Barda.
Like it's, but they still look feminine, even though she's big, even though she's thick. You know, it's like Frank Cho excels at that. You know, he'll draw you a big thick woman, but she'll still look. You know,
Frank Cho. I mean,
I will watch him draw because he posts videos of him just drawing pictures, and I'm always like watching it at like quarter speed, going, okay, he does this, then this, because it like helped with hairlines. Because like sometimes when I'm drawing them, I'm like, all right, you draw it, and then you just kind of like figure out the shape. But Frank Cho has this like way where you basically draw like a dude's hairline, and then you draw from that, and I go, oh, okay, it all makes more sense now. That's the greatest thing about comic artists that post their shit on social media, like Steve Rude. I'll watch him ink, and I'm just like, oh, okay. I get how he like puts it together and like figures out how he wants to ink it. He like sits and looks at it and goes back.
Big Barda for you.
Yeah.
Michael Turner, big Barda, even better.
What was that Batman movie that they did with Superman Apocalypse? Isn't Big Barda in that? The cartoon?
It's that's Superman and Batman Apocalypse.
Yeah.
It's actually the animated adaptation of this story arc.
That was a good story arc.
Yes, it was.
That one's good.
I own it in like 7 different formats.
Public Enemies is really good.
Yeah, Public Enemies is really good. Yeah.
I have Absolute Batman and Robin. No, Absolute Batman Superman, but it's the Ed McGuinness stuff. They had it super cheap.
Oh, that's awesome. I don't even know if I have an Ollie's anywhere near me.
Yeah,
I should look one of these days.
But dude, their book selection's ridiculous. Like I picked up Marvel Masterworks hardcover editions. Those are $95 books, or were they $75? Either way, they're $75. I picked up for $20.
Yeah, what the hell?
Yeah. And then you post videos, and the whole time I'm screaming because you're picking up Fist Ninjas, and I'm like, buy it, Jeff, buy the Fist Ninjas.
I knew you had made a comment about that, and I got a lot of guys who are army builders, and I'm like, I'm just gonna troll them.
I'm like, I will buy everyone that you pick up.
The only thing I army build are stormtroopers from the original Star Wars. Like that's it. Guys, I'm like, do I need 13 of them? Yes, I do.
I army build a lot of things, and my friend Brian, when we were working the booth at Frankenson's, like we would walk past, the people's cases, and like guys would have like a row of like Hydra troopers, and I'd be like, or AIM soldiers, and I'd be like, Brian, do I have enough Hydra and AIM soldiers? Because at the time I was like, I had 30 of each, and he's like, no, I think you need a few more, and then eventually it got to a point where I was like, no, you need to stop. You need to stop.
Well, you
I apparently have a few pretty close by.
See, there you go, Andrew. Start doing videos and sending them to. That's what you should do. Is you should do your own Ollie's videos and then send them to Jeff, and Jeff can narrate over them.
Yeah, I give you a shout out. We're doing a fan video because a dude down in Texas sent me some footage and a couple of people from around the country. But I wanted to make sure it was a fully fan submitted episode. So, folks, if you're close to an Ollie's or you want to send me your toy aisles, send that email. Make sure you shoot it in widescreen or landscape in full high definition and send that to info@worldclassbullshitters.com, and you'll get an email from me telling you thank you, and then we will download that and take care of it. So if you guys want to be a part of that, or if you want to remain anonymous and you still want to send in the footage, info@worldclassbullshitters.com. Aaron, one day we will go to an Ollie's and we will spend minutes in there because when you go there, you realize, it's just like a 2-section store for guys like us. It's like the books and the toys. Unless you really need to go down the spice aisle and pick up another thing of, I don't know, Weber grill seasoning or some random shit like that.
Well, the next time you're in California, like I want to like take you down to San Diego and show you a couple of really great shops down there. There's some good some good toy footage to be had, a lot of vintage stuff. I want to take you and hit some of those stuff. Those when you were doing those, I was like super interested, and I was actually freeze framing them a lot because I'm like, okay, Jeff's moving too quickly. I need to see what's in this case.
I will bring those back. I just haven't been around to any vintage toy stores lately, but I will see what's up in Michigan. See, folks, that's the problem of being a one-man army. It's like I can make toy videos, but I also got to draw these books, and then I got to make regular videos. So it's like if I could clone myself, and then have the art version of me and the YouTube version of me, that'd be a lot better than it is now. But hey,
if I won the lottery, I would build a creative compound for us all, like basically like our Hall of Justice.
Yeah.
But then we'd have to invent the teleporter so that we can just walk through the door and then come into the,
Yeah, I'd
I
hang
don't
out
even
all the
want
time
the
and be home for
option
dinner.
of people knocking on the door. I want to build the watchtower because honestly, that's the cooler base.
they're still gonna text you. They're still gonna call you out of the blue. They're just gonna send you. They're gonna send you a DM just going, "Hi, how are you?"
Like I sent you.
Did you really?
I sent one to Aaron as soon as he was talking about that. Aaron, check your Twitter DM.
Guy.
But see, you
Awful.
and I already have a chat, so it's not the same thing. It's not out of the blue. Like it's just, oh man.
I'm gonna log into my personal account and just start messaging you from that one. You're like, wait, Jeff has another Twitter? Yes, I do.
There it is. Hi, how are you?
Shit, I'm gonna find out how to send you stuff in the mail without you knowing, and I'm just gonna draw you a picture of just a random person's face with a word balloon. Hi, how are you?
I'll frame that. I'll put it on the fridge.
Somebody either peeking around the corner or from behind a bush or over the fence, just like, hey.
It'll be you, Andrew. I'll draw you.
Sure, why not?
I get a lot of 3D modelers hitting me up, which is fine because it's like my buddy and I, we do 3D modeling and we make sculpts and stuff for like action figures. So there is possibly some work that I can throw people, but they don't know that. That's the funny thing. They're just like cold calling me out of like, I could make you a 3D model of your Doomface character, and I'm like, I have one, thank you. Like I do all this creative stuff.
If an artist sends me fan art of my character, I'm not mad. But don't just don't cold call, DM me and say hi. Like that's an auto delete, block, move on. Don't care.
Or if they said like it's weird if somebody wrote to you and they were like, you could pay me to draw your character. Like that's weird.
Yeah.
If you draw fan art, here's really the truth. If you're a good enough artist and you draw fan art of somebody's character and they like it, they'll
ask you for more.
Yeah. Or they'll hire you to do a cover, or there's a guy Pepe Draws that I've commissioned a couple of covers from, and he was just doing Marvel Rivals fan art. And I just saw his stuff and I was like, hey, I really like this. You want to do a cover for me?
A guy, artist named Power Rodrix, who he's done some stuff in the sphere, mainly for like Dave Brink, who does he's got Genuine Comics, Perfect 10, all that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. He just out of the blue posted fan art of my character on his Instagram, and I just found it scrolling through my Instagram. I'm like, what the hell is this? This is amazing. What the crap?
That's when you've arrived, when it's like you've got a character and like you just randomly come across fan art of it. They're not even like, hey, look, I drew your character. Like they're just like, I like this.
They just drew it and nonchalantly dropped it on their own Instagram because they wanted to draw it because they thought it was cool enough looking that they wanted to spend the time out of their day that they could be drawing literally anything else. They chose to draw my character. I consider that pretty rad.
When I know that like Doomface has made it is when I'm at a con and I see somebody cosplaying it and they have no idea who I am.
Right?
It's just somebody dressed as Doomface or Lexi or and I'm like, oh my god, like you're Lexi, and they're like, yeah. I'm like, it's my character.
And they'll be like,
how
okay.
many months did you work out on your abs?
Right?
Yeah. I do have to tone Renzo back a little bit. I'm like, okay, her abs are getting ridiculous. She's not doing that many sit-ups or that many crunches.
That's all she does.
No, let him cook.
She crunches 24/7.
He's pretty damn good.
Working out those ab muscles because she's laughing so much at how ridiculous everything is around her in private.
Yeah. Well, and then Oscar, like if Renzo draws it, then Oscar's going to go and he's going to highlight everything. So it's going to be like just like glistening and just so it's like, okay, guys, she's getting too buff.
Aaron, real quick, people in the chat are joking about how Maximum Hulk and Gamer versus Omega War Machine are going to come to Ollie soon. That's kind of my new strategy. Is
Hulk might? I'm seeing Hulk
will.
get
I'm going to
reduced.
guess.
Yeah, I definitely want one when because I was gonna go buy him the other day when he dropped to 40 at Best Buy, but by the time I saw that like I went over there and he was sold out, I was like, damn it! I was like, I would have paid 40 for that Hulk. That's the maximum that I'd pay for it because those maximum, no pun intended, those maximum figures are radically overpriced. You did a whole show about it when the Spider-Man was announced, and now it's like, oh, Deadpool, and it's like you get dupe, and that's how they're trying to like pull you in. And I'm like, I want that dupe, but I'm not buying another Deadpool, and I'm certainly not paying $50 for a Marvel Legends Deadpool.
I forgot that he was announced already. That was bullshit.
Yeah. I did pick up X-Men 97 Morph the other day, though. And you know why I picked it up? Because I'd already made a custom Morph that I was happy with. But I picked it up because it comes with a Henry Peter Gyrick head.
Oh.
That's the weird thing. You can get me on weird stuff like that. I'm like, oh, I have a body I can put that on, and then I've got a Henry Peter Gyrick figure. And people are like, why do you want a Henry Peter Gyrick figure? And I'm like, I want Val Cooper too. Shut up.
Yeah, and Hasbro's always like, it's just somebody in a suit. Well, when you make what's his face from Black Panther: Wakanda Forever, Martin Freeman's character, and he's just at every store forever, maybe take one of those suited bodies and give us a Henry Gyrick or I don't know who else wears a suit. Give us more J. Jonah Jamesons.
Yeah, they gave us the really good J. Jonah Jameson though, where he's just in the shirt with the rolled up sleeves and the vest. And
yeah,
they even like his mouth has a little bit of, I don't even notice, but his mouth's got a little bit of it's positioned in a certain way so that I was able to like 3D print a little cigar and jam it in there. So my J. Jonah has a cigar as he should.
Yeah.
We've got a head sculpt over on Big Head Studios Customs too for you can buy the thing and with the cigar. Gritted teeth with the cigar or closed mouth with the cigar. So it's like these characters should have that. It's
Do you have like a Ben Urich head sculpt there for like to put on a body with a suit for a reporter?
Oh no! You know what? I do need to do it. I'm going to add that to the list because we're doing the Tinkerer right now because it's just like weird, like obscure, like I'm just make an old man with glasses, so I can put him on a body with a sweater vest. Have him like at a table, like making stuff. I love all those. I love all the obscure characters. We're getting a lot of them. Like they just released Hypno Hustler in the Spider-Man line. Is that crazy? Did you ever think you'd be able to buy a Hypno Hustler figure?
No, I never even thought about buying one either, but now it's here, and
he'll be at Ollie's, I'm sure. That'll be the one.
When he shows up at what's the guy's name? Tarantula. He's a much more prominent character. He showed up at Ollie's by the cases, so he'll show up eventually. I don't think they'll have any X-Men 97 people show up. They have the Blackbird jet. That's been there for like a year. Well, it feels like a year, but I picked up Wolverine the other day, the non-costumed one, Logan.
Oh, where he's just in his brown jacket with the yellow shirt underneath. And
you know why I bought it though? Besides wanting it, it came with a deck of cards. I was like, that's kind of cool in that scale, so I bought it because it had little cards.
Oh yeah, and then you get Gambit, and now he's got cards that are not charged. You can hand him around. You can give him to Bullseye.
I have my SH Figure Arts Gambit, or no, Mafex Gambit. Excuse me. Maybe I'll see how the cards look with him.
That's a nice one.
It is, because they all look like Jim Lee to me, so that's why I was happy to pay the Japanese premium. Didn't even worry about the import costs. Nowadays, with all the tariffs and shit on toys, which will never go away, because companies will just, oh, well, in 2025 we had a problem. But, bro, it's 2082. It's time to, remove that price. No.
Yeah, also, we found out that the entire core of the Earth is oil, so it's really cheap. And they're like, no, it's still...
You don't understand licensing agreements and how much we have to pay Disney. It's like, I don't care. I'm not spending $30. Well, it's $30 for a Legends figure now. Forget that.
Yeah, $27.99 to $30 for just a basic. I saw that the new McFarlane Mortal Kombat figures are out, and they're like $30 now, and I'm like, they look really good, but 30, no.
Yeah, it's I'll wait for Ross Dress for Less because $30 for a damn Mortal Kombat. Mortal Kombat was cool when I was a kid, and I loved the game. But as an adult, just I don't know, man. It's not a toy line I've ever been hungry for. So
well, it's good because they've never had, and no one who has ever had the license has ever done a complete line of any of the games. Never once. You've never gotten everybody. It looks like Jada is finally going to be the first company to finish a Street Fighter lineup. With Ultra Street Fighter. It'll be the first one that's completed if they get through the next couple of characters. But nobody else, even Soda Toys, they produced everybody except DJ.
No, gosh. I wouldn't mind having freaking Revoltech do some Street Fighter characters, because I'm actually pretty hot on so Cammy's my character. It's the only character I've ever been able to play at all in those games. So it's kind of by default as well, because it's the only one I wouldn't completely get my ass kicked in. But I liked her alternate design for the most recent game with like the crop jacket and kind of like workout tights and all that. I was like, I could have done with like having an option for like her still having the long hair as opposed to the short hair, but she still looks freaking great. And I'm like, man, a Revoltech of her like that would look absolutely incredible. I need it.
Yeah, I want to get the Yuri Han Revoltech. Really good. Yeah, it's like I need because that's my girl. That's my favorite Street Fighter character. And I actually got to write a 4-pager with her for Udon, which was fun. It was supposed to be
cool.
It was supposed to be a whole issue, and then Capcom was like, "No, we don't want you doing a Churi book because we're doing this in the game, and it's like, so we want to hold off on doing anything like that." And it was like, we already generated all these covers with her. What do you want us to do? And they were like, well, just put her in this book and just do like a short story. So I got to do a 4-pager with her, which was fun.
That's cool.
Our pal Xavier God has a question. Would you guys have liked it or hated it if after the Tobey Maguire movies, all Spider-Man movies were Raimiverse adjacent, or X-Men comics became the Fox X-Men adjacent?
I never want the comics to reflect the movies. Never ever.
Yeah, I wouldn't want that for either of them.
Yeah.
Like I as much as I love the Raimi films, like I would not want the comics to all of a sudden be like that, because then Peter would act no differently in and out of the suit. He'd just kind of be the same character.
I have no problem with them doing a comic based on the movies. I just don't want it in the regular 616.
Yeah,
like, look, I'm still dealing with the fact that I haven't had the real Nick Fury since Original Sin because of the stupid Marvel movies. Now I'm stuck with lame, Sam Jackson Nick Fury.
You can thank 1610 Ultimate Universe for that.
Yeah, I mean, well, they brought him over into the regular universe. What's weird is they did that. They brought over Miles, and they had the chance to bring over the Ultimates Nick Fury and have him replace the lame one. That's like, oh, he's the son of regular Nick Fury.
Yeah,
it's like they had the chance to do that, and they did not. They did not do that. It's like, what a missed opportunity.
Well, that event was very clearly it. Up until just about the end, it felt like it was like, hey, are they about to do is Marvel about to do a reboot? Mm-hmm. What the hell? And then it felt like a really hard pivot right near the end of like, oh, they're just using this event to bring Miles into 616.
As far as I'm concerned, that was the end. That was the end of the regular 616 that I grew up with. Was that Secret Wars? That was the ending to it.
Yeah,
and because everything after that, that's where it started to get really bad. And I did like the. I always kind of paraphrase it, and I get the wording wrong because I rewrite it in my head to make it a little bit better. But I
respect that.
One thing Hickman nailed was in the confrontation between Doom and Reed, where Doom, they finally boil it down to just what it's about, and Doom says, admit it, Richards, you've always thought you were better than me. And Reed essentially responds, no, but I've never thought that, but I've always thought you could be better than what you are. And then Doom loses it. And I was like, that is the purest distillation of that relationship. And I really liked that. So I'm fine with the Marvel Universe ending there.
Yeah, I'm fine with the Marvel Universe ending as well. In Spider-Man, there are so many logical, natural conclusions to the character. It's like, oh, if it would have ended after 122 and after Gwen Stacy died, oh, that makes sense. Oh, it could have ended after he got married. It could have ended after Aunt May died. It could have ended when he had a kid. But they just found ways to stretch it out, which is fine. You want to, it's your moneymaker, but
it's your flagship character.
Yeah.
So, yeah. If it's always making money, you don't stop it until it stops making money, and even then, you license it out.
Even then, you try to squeeze a little bit more out of the desiccated corpse.
It's one of the first lessons I learned in Hollywood is no franchise, no IP is ever truly dead. It's just dormant, waiting for someone to be able to bring it back, whether it's a brand new interpretation or a revival of how it was back when it started out, just for the current audience. So it's always going to be, they're zombies, essentially. Like, they're just never, they're undead. and
I'm paraphrasing Serenity here, but sooner or later, someone will look at Tron and believe that it can be made better. And I'm going to be Mal. I'm going to be Mal going like, they will come back around to the idea that they can make more Tron. And I do not hold to that.
Here's an interesting question, because you guys are big toy guys, far bigger than I am. I have this hang up right now because I want the Revoltech Supergirl so badly, but I actually hate cloth capes.
Really?
Yeah, they're better.
I don't like them. I don't.
Especially if they got a little bit of wire in them, so that you can pose them. That's.
I don't like them. Maybe it's because I own so many more like statues than I do action figures, and I just like how everything looks kind of uniform and all that.
Well, if they cheap out and it's just a piece of cloth, like a crappy piece of cloth that just hangs there lifeless, then I get it. I absolutely get it. But they're doing a lot better things with like some of the cloth capes and things like that now. And
yeah, no, the Revoltech one clearly I think has like wiring in it and whatever, but I don't know.
Yeah, so you'll be able to like, have it dramatically billow behind her. Like whatever your pose you put her in, you'll be able to make the cape match. Like for example, I'm working on this custom Swarm over here, and he's just got like a plastic cape. And it's it's fine for just sitting there, but if you want to put him in any kind of dramatic poses, it'll limit what you can do with him in a lot of ways. So if he had like the wired cape, it'd be kind of nice.
I get that.
There was a time where they were doing a lot of like hard plastic figures that hindered posability. Like I have this Luke Skywalker, he can't even sit down. It's like he's from the scene with Ben in the hut, and he's supposed to be sitting down, but his little tunic is so thick, and you can't move his legs beyond a certain point. It's like they used to make this Han Solo where you couldn't make him sit down into the Falcon because his gun belt was this separate piece that just flung off to the side. But they've engineered. It's weird how toy engineering is evolving. Like, yeah, we're complaining about the prices, and I'm not happy to pay them. But if I pick up a figure from a couple years ago, like I got this new Chewbacca, and if I compare him to the other Chewbacca from just like 4 to 5 years ago, they've done a pretty good job updating it and engineering it. And we're getting to a point where these things are starting to look like little statues. But they're also going to cost the price of a little statue soon. So.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, I had one of the I don't know if you guys remember like the Chrome. This was from like the 90s. The Chrome Batman figure line. So there was a like a silver Chrome one, and he had a big old like long sword
I remember that.
And a cape and everything. Like they released a Batmobile.
Legends of the Dark Knight.
Yeah, that's the one, the Legends of the Dark Knight line, yeah. And they released a Batmobile that he was supposed to go in, but you had to take off his cape in order to put him in it.
Yep.
Because the cape was, that like plastic.
It was like a plastic rubber type of thing, like a hard rubber cape.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, they did that for the Batman Forever line. I remember that.
I was just about to say that.
Yeah, the Legend of the Dark Knight, those figures were like what, 5.5 inch or 5 1/4? They were bigger than the normal ones that you'd get from the previous runs.
Yeah,
there's really a Chrome blue one that I had where he had like a jetpack and stuff. It was cool.
Yeah, and then they were doing like, it's the cowboy Batman, it's the pirate Batman.
I was the weird kid that if it wasn't regular Batman, I wouldn't play with it.
You didn't buy Street Luge Batman?
Okay, so for the Batman, the first 89, okay, not the first, but the 89 toy line from Kenner, their first toy line, I had all those Batmans as a kid, like the gold, the blue, the silver and blue. And then for returns, I had a white one, I think, and then I had a neon green. But
the white one the Arctic, was supposed to be like his Arctic.
His Arctic one. There was also the yellow one, the bright yellow one, which I think came with the Bat jet ski submarine. That's the one I had.
Mm-hmm.
And then
infrared Batman that had the laser like things that you would clip on with like.
Yep. There's the other one that had it was a gray silver suit, but it was like square blocks of gray armor. Like it looked like Spider-Man's metal costume, but all over Batman.
I know the one you're talking about.
Yeah. Those
like
ones that were the
Spider-Man.
easiest to find, because the hardest ones to find in my neighborhood was the Crime Attack Batman and the Iron Winch Batman.
Yep, because they're the only ones in the costumes.
They're the only ones in like legit costumes, yeah.
Combat Belt Batman from the animated series was the toughest one because it was just the traditional costume.
Yeah, I managed to get 3 of those, luckily.
I remember, so my brother and I are at Toys R Us, and we're asking if they have any of the new Batman figures. And the girl goes, let me check. And she comes out, and she's got like, this is like 3 days before the Mask of the Phantasm movie comes out. And she goes, we've got this box, and it's Mask of the Phantasm. And so we're like, oh, cool. So she opens it up. We know we're going to get Phantasm because it's only one per case, because the villains were always one per case. It sucked. And we're like, all right. And we get it out. And there's Andrea Beaumont's face, just like right there. Like they didn't even put the mask over her. So we're like, oh, I guess Andrea Beaumont is the Phantasm.
Spoilers.
Yeah.
They should have pulled a Dick Tracy because you didn't know, right? Did the figure
blank,
face
yeah.
come off? Yeah, the blank was just packaged that way.
Yeah, like or even if you now granted it wasn't a reveal, but like they made a Dr. Claw figure for Inspector Gadget, but
that was the biggest disappointment of my childhood, dude.
It's
Seeing
just
what
like
Dr.
some
Claw
dude with
looked
the white
like.
hair. Uh-huh.
There's some
I always
great
thought he
face
was
with
gonna
white
look-
hair. Yeah.
I always thought he would look like, you know, the Mad logo. I thought he would have like a suit of armor where his mask looked like that logo. I was like, that'll be cool. Inspector Gadget fighting this big dude, and then you see it like because it was in the video game for the Super Nintendo. You get to the final boss, and the chair turns around, and you're like, that's Dr. Claw. Okay. And then you beat him, and you're just like, well, that kind of sucked. But that toy was really hard to find.
Yeah.
I never saw it in person. Because I had all those Inspector Gadget figures, except the Mad Agent and Dr. Claw, because I never saw those. But I had every Gadget color variation you could imagine. And on the back of the box, Dr. Claw was just the seat. And they would say Dr. Claw. And I'm like, oh, man, cool, we're going to get the chair. He didn't even come with the fucking chair.
No,
he came
and
with
they
a
didn't sell it
bomb.
separately.
No, I didn't know that they sold the Gadget Mobile back in the day.
Did he come with Mad Cat?
He may have.
I think
Probably
he did.
had to have.
He had to have, right?
Because Penny and Brain were at 2-pack. The only person that didn't get a figure back then was Chief Quimby.
That's
Yeah,
a
and he
horrible thing.
You
yeah.
could have just he could have come with a trash can that you put him in, or a mailbox or something, you know.
Well, they made a newer
you
set
could've.
a few years back. It was and I like the way they did it because to save money on costs, Inspector Gadget was a fully articulated figure with removable parts, all the Gadget accessories, different heads. But Penny, Chief Quimby, and Brain were to scale little statues, and they didn't move. But you could put accessories on them, like Brain had a sombrero and a mustache. You could put Chief Quimby in a trash can and all this other shit with him. And I thought that was a cool way, but that's the only way we've ever gotten Chief Quimby was in that.
Yeah, I remember that. Those figures coming out. That was really good. I didn't pick them up. I should have. I regret it now.
I have one on my shelf right now. Because Inspector Gadget's my favorite cartoon character. I got the Burger King one, and I have the who made that? Not Toy Biz. Was it Deke? Well, whoever made that figure back in the day, I have that one. His head didn't move though, because to necessitate his Go-Go Gadget hat, he just had he was like a hollow shell of a figure, and then his arms and legs could kind of move. See, I hated play features. I would always want my stuff to look like the show. It didn't have to do what the show did. Like, I didn't need Batman's grappling hook to actually fire out of his hand. I just needed a rope that I could throw up and then swing him on it. But
Greg Weisman was telling me that when he was doing the Gargoyles cartoon and they were showing him like the toys, and they were like, oh, here's like, you know, volcanic Goliath, and here's this Goliath, and blah blah blah. And he was like, the only one I was like, I wanted just the regular Goliath. And he goes, and then I kind of like the one where you could put the stone on him. He came with like rubber stone pieces that you could put on him so he could like burst out of it. And he goes, but man, when they showed us the Eliza Maza figure, and she was in like a jumpsuit with a jetpack, I was like, cool, can you just make her in her regular costumes too? And they're like, no, kids won't want to buy that. And he was like, it was such a huge disappointment. And of course, now NECA's done all of that. You know, you can buy every single one of the gargoyles. You can get the bad guys. You can get, Eliza in her traditional cop uniform. And if you want, you can get Broadway. You can get him in his little detective outfit. It's a whole different figure.
I bought the Goliath. That was the only NECA gargoyle figure I bought because I had tons of toys. I don't want to act like, oh, I wanted all this stuff. I was a spoiled kid, but I never got that because I wasn't really into the show that much. But I always thought the figure looked cool of Goliath. If my cousin had it, I'd play with it. So when that came out, I was like, you know what? Time to get a Goliath. And I've never taken him out of the box. It's literally on my shelf in a box.
I still need to pick up Hudson, Lexington, and Broadway. Those are the only, and Eliza. Those are the only 4 that I need. But I got multiple of the Steel Clan robots. I've got Xanatos in both his suit and his armored, his gargoyle armor. I was excited about those. I'll tell you what, though, you have to put the folded wings on them because if you put the regular wings on them, you will run out of display space for those really quick.
Oh,
and the wings, The wings are such hard plastic that I'm afraid that if you put them on a shelf and they fall off, those wings are just going to shatter.
Ah,
Can't be worse than my Super 7 Goldar. I took it out of the box. I went to pop the wing into it, and the tab on the wing snapped right away.
Oof.
So I guess Goldar doesn't have wings anymore.
No, you have
Wow.
to. God, with the Super 7s, you have to like put them in boiling water before you move any of the joints. It's ridiculous.
that's
They-
retarded.
That is one of 2 lines I've ever canceled. The first one, well, Super 7 Power Rangers was the first one, and then the Mezco 1/12 collective Power Rangers were the only other ones I've canceled because they just looked like shit. My rule of thumb is if your new product doesn't match something that came out 30 years ago, I'm not going to give you my money. That's it. Like that somebody made these little like 3.75-inch Batman figures. I picked those up because they were kind of kitschy and fun.
Mm-hmm.
And they had the same articulation as the original ones, but they also had better sculpts.
Yep.
They also weren't that big of an upgrade, though. I've also stopped the line at Series 1 because, man, you jump into these boutique toy lines, and before you know it, you've pre-ordered $1,000 worth of shit, and then you get it, and you're like, I don't really like this, so then I cancel the rest of it.
I need to pick up. Just speaking of boutique toy lines, the only Dungeons and Dragons cartoon character I still need is Presto. Everyone
Which
else,
one's that?
he's the magician.
Oh, okay.
Send me a picture, because when I'm out, Ollie's has tons of those. I've never filmed it because it's just like a Dungeons and Dragons wall.
Yeah, it's like if they ever have the Beholder, I'd definitely pick up another Beholder. I got a couple of Displacer Beasts. Doc got me the Owl Bears that I wanted. But like from the movie, the last 2 characters that came out were the chick that turns into the Owl Bear and then the Paladin. And I've never seen. I saw the Paladin once at GameStop, and I wasn't going to pay $35 for him, or whatever the price they were asking. But I figured those have got to hit Ollie's at some point.
I heard that movie wasn't that bad.
It's good. It's worth watching. It's fun.
Which one?
The Dungeons and Dragons: Honor Among Thieves.
Oh,
yeah.
that movie
Well,
was.
Chris Pine. That was.
I
yeah, it's
loved
not
that
bad.
movie.
Mm-hmm.
As a
Is
longtime
it better than the
D&D
ones with Jeremy
fan,
Irons?
I'm sure that's like, preaching to the choir to you, Aaron. But I've been playing D&D since I was in junior high, and like watching that movie, it was like, oh, yep, I've had shit like that happen. Yep, I've had shit like that happen. And then they layered in like a really good like father redemption story arc into there. I was like, well, look at this.
Mm-hmm.
Like this is
And,
this
they
is good.
had the controversy because the marketing didn't do them any favors, and then the creators didn't do them any favors, coming out and going like, oh, we love emasculating men, and it was like, this is not the time to be saying that. This is not the cultural time to be saying that about your movie. And so
No, because then you watch the movie and it doesn't happen.
It doesn't happen. Everybody in the party is a buffoon.
Yeah.
The men, the women, like they're all losers. That's kind of the the theme.
Yeah.
And they come together and they get it right. It's like everybody.
Every single one of those characters in the party had some sort of major hang up and mess up.
Yeah. Even Michelle Rodriguez, who's the tough chick, because she's the barbarian, but she's still got her problems. She's still messing stuff up too. It's great. It's a lot of fun, and Chris Pine is at his most charming.
Oh yeah.
It's got some good jokes in it. I do like when the intellect devourers just walk past them in the dungeon. And he's like, well, that's kind of insulting.
That's insulting. He's like, shit. Like I
Grant was
audibly
surprisingly good in that too, because he's made a huge shift in the industry. Because he used to be like the charming, quirky guy, and then he started taking roles where he's like an underdog or a villain, and he's like, oh wow, you actually see him act, and you want to see more of him do this type of stuff.
I want to see that movie where he traps the girls in the house in that maze, or like that he's got built in his house. That movie looks crazy, and I've
that looks pretty crazy too. Oh man, what's that title?
I'm not sure.
No, it's funny because he says a bunch of stuff that really makes fun of like the Gen Zs and and the whole PC culture.
Speaking of movies, are you guys excited to go see the new Predator?
No.
Everybody's glazing it so hard that it feels manufactured to me. I'm like, it can't be good. Like they're trying way too hard to convince me that it's good.
I'll catch it on demand, and make my own determination. But I've yet to see anything that gets me excited for it.
Well, when they're saying like it's the sweetest predator yet in like article
Oh,
headlines.
wow, yeah, that's a real good sell right there.
Yeah,
That's what I look for in my Predator movies.
Oh, I want to ship the predator and the girl. That's what I want. Plus, I hate the look of that predator. And
I do too.
I'm somebody who like I bought all the Kenner figures with their weird looks and was fine with them. You know, I've bought every NECA predator.
Oh, back when they were doing the Predators, and didn't Kenner also do all like that big long run on like the Aliens figures as well?
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
And they had like all the different colored ones and things like that wound up getting like adapted into comic books.
Yeah, and NECA's made some of them too. They've remade like the Gorilla Alien, the Mantis Alien, some of those, the Scorpion Alien from the Kenner line. They've remade a lot of the Kenner Predators. I love the looks of all those, and I look at this new Predator and I'm like, oh, I hate everything about him, because number one, I hate the fact that you're treating the dreadlocks like their hair. They're not.
They're not.
Mm-hmm.
It's part of his head.
Mm-hmm. He's got it pulled back into like a ponytail, which I'm like, whatever, fine, give him a ponytail with that stuff, but all the ones on the side are missing. Like he shaved them off.
Yeah.
They're not. It's not hair.
It doesn't work that way.
Mm-hmm.
No, it's like you shaved off his ears or nose or some sort of cartilage appendage or something.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
and the face looks ugly, and like everybody's saying it looks like Michelle Obama, and I'm like, I can't disagree with that. Like, you know, it does.
Ouch.
It does kind of look like Michelle Obama. It's just I don't like it, and I don't have any objection to like a story about a young predator on a world. You know, that he gets put there for like training or for his trials or whatever, and there's a Weyland-Yutani android, and you know, like I like none of that bothers me.
I don't mind the premise.
But,
I just like. I haven't seen anything from the trailer that interests me, and I'm with you. Like the design, it's not doing it.
And Prey, I think, was overpraised.
I still haven't seen it. That's the only one I haven't seen.
It was okay.
It was fine. It was okay. But it was coming after The Predator, which was god awful.
Yeah.
So just by virtue of not being god awful, it got like a lot of extra praise. But I haven't seen anything from Dan Trachtenberg in the Predator universe. You know, between this and then the Predator animated thing that he did, I haven't seen anything from him that's made me think like this is the guy, you know, for this franchise. And Badlands doesn't make me think that it's going to convince me either.
And Predator, at the end of the day, Hollywood doesn't want to hear this. It's not a mineable franchise. It's an Arnold Schwarzenegger movie that everybody quotes for him. But the Predator lore and all this extra nerdy shit is just that extra nerdy shit that appeals to a much smaller audience. But everybody knows
small audience.
Is this awesome Schwarzenegger film? Get to the chopper! Like it's that shit. And like, you son of a bitch! Like I have that button on here. Like those things are great, and those are what make Predator stand out. Nobody talks about Danny Glover outside of. Did you know that there's a xenomorph skeleton in part 2?
I mean, I talk about that one, but I don't talk about him. I talk about Bill Paxton as the Lone Ranger.
Yeah.
The only man to be killed by a Terminator and a Predator, and disappointed by the old lady in Titanic. And an alien.
I love him in that, though. And I love how just like whatever they ask him to do, the surveillance is my specialty. Like he's a good cocky character. Predator 2's not bad. It's probably the third best. Because I like, of course, there's the original is the top. That's a perfect movie. And then for me, the second one is Predators.
Yeah, I agree with that. Mm-hmm. I agree with that. That's actually a decent movie. Mm-hmm. I enjoy that one. I actually rewatched that.
Eric Foreman is in that one.
Yeah.
Okay. And I called it. I called the twist with him early on, but I still enjoyed it. Like when they did the reveal, I was still like, all right, you know, I'm into it.
I'm still on board. I'm here for it. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Xavier to God, you guys address this one. I'm gonna go grab a drink. The AVP was about young bloods getting blooded. Do you guys like AVP?
Although every Predator in that movie looked like they were played by an NFL linebacker. They were all way too big.
They were huge. My main issue with that movie, aside from it being bad, is that all of the Predators, or almost all of them, like just get offed so quickly. And I get that they're young, right? Like, but they're still supposed to be like this peak warrior race. Like, have them last more than 15 seconds, please, and thank you. All right, like really?
Yeah, they get murked way too quick. That
just bothered me. And so, just by way of that, I wound up enjoying more or less even though it's also awful, Requiem, just because through the whole thing, it's just a predator going off and just kicking the crap out of the xenomorphs. So I'm like, you know what? This movie sucks, but I'm seeing a predator kick ass, so I'm just gonna sit here and pop my popcorn.
Plus, the Pred Alien's pretty dope.
The Pred Alien, the fight between the two of them was pretty cool, and the Pred Alien was something that already existed in like Predator and Alien lore. Like if you guys played the AVP video games, like it was in that, so that wasn't a thing that they just pulled out of their asshole for that movie.
Yeah, the first AVP, I got irritated like almost immediately because like the script, you set up a time thing where it's like every 15 minutes, the place is like the cube or whatever. It shifts around, changes configuration. But when you do that and then you show people getting face huggered and then there's full-size aliens and you've only had one shift, I'm like, so they went from face hugger to chest burster to full-blown alien in 15 minutes to a half hour?
Yeah.
You have to put something, if you're going to do that, it has to happen before you start doing the time shift, or you have to explain, and how do you do this? Because the predators don't talk, and how would anybody else know this? Is you have to explain that they've all been genetically modified because this is a hunting ground. So the queen is pumping out,
and so they mature more fast. Like they mature faster, right? Like that easy enough explanation gives something that hints to that. But yeah, you're absolutely right.
I did like the alien getting his tail cut off though, and then using it like an acid sprinkler.
Oh yeah,
that was pretty good. The grid alien looked cool with the net, kind of like. There's some good stuff in there, but
they're a cool concept. There's some cool visuals, but the execution of all those things coming together was less than desirable.
And they needed a better female lead. She just was not charismatic enough to carry.
Yeah, she had no personality really. She was like, I don't know, Wonder Bread.
Imagine if that would have been Angela Bassett. She would have had some weight, right? Because she would have taken it seriously. Because Angela Bassett takes everything seriously.
I was about
Even
to say,
she's in a comedy with Eddie Murphy, Vampire in Brooklyn, and she is playing it straight as a heart attack, man. Like she is not comedic at all.
I don't hate that movie.
No, I don't either.
I didn't even think about that, Aaron. Like that actually would have been. I could have actually bought into that.
Because she would have played it tough.
Yeah.
The other chick seemed too soft, even though they were trying to play her tough.
Yeah, she didn't sell it.
She's like, I pulled all those people off that mountain in the Himalayas, and I'm like, no, you didn't.
Yeah. No. I don't believe you. Try again.
Just Ron Burgundy lighting the cigarette. I don't believe you.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly that. I don't actually remember that much about the Predator. I did watch it. That was in the 2010s. Is when that came out.
No, The Predator is the Shane Black one that came out a few years ago.
Yep. That's the one with the autistic kid in it, right? Yeah.
Yeah, where the predators want autism.
That's
it's like a
right.
Superpower. And it's got Donald Pierce from Logan as the main
That's
character.
Right. Okay, I did see that. I didn't hate it, but at the end of it, I was like, I'm probably never gonna watch this again.
It's got like the worst third act of. Oh god, this is terrible, and I know why, because like everybody freaked out when those Predator set photos leaked of like the Predators that were on the Army's side. Where they're dressed in like combat fatigues. NECA made figures of both of those because, of course, you have to make the figure like a year out, and it's like, look, we made these molds. I bought both of them. I got 2 Predators in like years. Sometimes I set them up with my GI Joe Desert characters. I'm like, yeah,
man, that was a choice. Somebody made choices.
I have a Soda Desert Guile too, so I'm like, this is the unit right here. It's Dusty, 2 Predators, Guile in his desert camo.
That's a hell of a lineup.
Mm-hmm. Cobra's getting their shit pushed in.
Yeah, they are.
Now you know why in the G.I. Joe animated movie, Baroness says, "You botched our desert campaign." In my head, Cobra Commander goes, "What do you want me to do? They had 2 fucking predators."
I need to pick up that Cobra Commander. I'm going to go back out and get it. Aaron, you've sold me.
You should.
You do, I'll make you a hooded head for it.
Ooh.
There you go.
It'll give me something else to pick up besides the Han Solo I'm looking for. So, I haven't given up on Star Wars figures yet because they're actually making some really good ones, and I'd only be hurting myself if I didn't pick them up. So
I know they just released. You can see like they're like, look, we can't keep selling this Disney Plus trash. All the Skeleton Crew figures have been at Ross. All of the Acolyte figures have been at Ross. They just reduced like the Oshas and the whatever her sister version is. May, yeah, they just reduced those to $3.99 down from $5.99. They're like, please get these out of here, and people still aren't biting.
I'm working on a video, and I'm trying to come up with a tactful way to title it. But realistically, when you make these diversity choice characters into merchandise, it never works, and it goes to show you how popular they truly are. And maybe if Hasbro had, or if Disney had the numbers of what actually sold, not versus what was produced and shipped to a store, maybe they could see like, oh shit, we're not making stuff people actually want. But
well, you could call it like Star Wars figures or Acolyte figures, not OSHA certified.
I mean, do they care though? Because to them, it's just widgets. It's just units. Like it doesn't matter that this character didn't sell because it still sold to the stores, so that we still sold this many.
But what happens though is these stores lower their space for these unsellable pieces of shit. And so I get people messaging me, hey, they took out my Star Wars section. Hey, they took out this section or that section of my toy aisle. And eventually, like, retail space is expensive, man. I know Disney's got money and Hasbro's got money, but, like, if Walmart says, this doesn't sell at our store, we're just going to not carry it anymore, or they ship it directly to Ollie's, which is what happens a lot of time, that's got to have some kind of adverse effect in the future. It can't be blindly ignored forever.
They're going to have to open additional Ollie's just to take the stuff some of the stuff that's not selling at your Ollie's and just distribute it out further. Like I see you go in there and I'm like, man, that wall of young Jedi adventures just gets higher and higher. That tower of ships.
Yep.
and I know Jeff's not a short guy, and it's going up and up and up.
When I say
isn't that like
high,
chibified cartoon that they did?
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
And nobody wants it.
Nope, kids didn't want it.
I was like, I saw like they have like a little Ewok character in there named Nub Nub or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
And I was kind of pissed because one of the things that like I had pitched back in the day when the license was at Dark Horse. Actually, no, I didn't get a chance to pitch it before it went to Marvel. But I was working up this story that would like kind of tie back to the Old Republic, but it would have all these things. And one of the things that my friend Marie and I came up with for the pitch was on the main character's ship, her mechanic was an Ewok. And the reason that we liked that was because we're like, okay, so this was like taken as a walkling from Endor and sold in the black market of Nar Shaddaa and ended up learning, it's like, it's not that the Ewoks can't do that stuff. It's just that their society hasn't advanced there. But if you took this walkling and you introduced him to that at a very early age, he could learn it. So we had this little surly mechanic Ewok that was part of the crew. And I was like, oh man, I always want to do that. And then I saw Nub Nub. I was like, I mean, it's not the same character, but same basic idea. Screw you guys.
So you said you weren't at Dark Horse when Star Wars was there, or no?
No, I was never at Dark Horse, but like I was pitching them things. I had like a Boba Fett story that I had pitched, and there was like a Boba Fett Western long before, The Mandalorian, things like that.
Only reason I brought it up is their Star Wars comic book from 2013 was consistently awesome. Like, it only ran for 24 issues.
Yeah, but I could never get anybody, I could never get anybody at Dark Horse to listen to me. I mean, I talked to Mike Richardson a few times at cons, but like you could never, like once the con was over, you could never like get in touch and be like, hey, I want to do a thing. It's a shame. Like I had a couple of good stories that I would have liked to have told over there. They'd all be non-canon now because, as you know, Jeff, we don't have any expanded.
We don't have mountains of canon, right?
No, nothing we can do. Every one of these movies is a tough nut to crack because we got to start from scratch. There's nothing to draw from, even though that's all Dave Filoni does is steal from the expanded universe, steal better things, and then make them lame.
Yeah, and also not even completely understanding the full context of the expanded universe, even though I've seen him do trivia contests where he gets the answers right, but it's the nuance and everything beneath that he's completely foreign on or just doesn't care.
Mm-hmm. Well, I mean, when you have Sam Witwer coming in and correcting you on movie canon, it's like, this is great.
Yeah, on day one.
It'll be the first time that Padme and Shmi have met. And Sam Witwer's like, excuse me?
Am I the only one here that watched episode 1? Right?
It feels like it sometimes.
Yeah. But Dave Filoni doesn't care. He's just doing his version with this. It's like it's his story stuffed, into the skin of Star Wars, stretched around it, and looking like Vincent D'Onofrio in Men in Black.
It's a Star Wars suit.
Yep.
Let's see. Star Wars Tales was a great anthology series. Why does Media Junk end up at Ollie's? Wouldn't it be less embarrassing to donate to the Taliban? Look, the way Ollie's works is if Hasbro sells X amount of Shurikopters to Walmart and none of them sell, Walmart then sells back stock to Ollie's. Sometimes, though, it'll go directly from like Hasbro to Ollie's because they get a lot of new shit too. Stuff that will show up that hasn't been in the retail chain for that long, unless a store is like dumping it right away. Like those OSHA hologram figures aren't that old. The stuff from the Acolyte, it didn't drop when the show dropped. It was a couple months later. So you see older stuff in regular retail still, but that stuff just moves quickly. So
yeah, here's the other thing that we didn't touch on about the problem with the retail sales and things and sales being poor is, let's say, so for example, when the Kevin Smith He-Man cartoon came out, Target ordered a shit ton of that first wave, which was Skeletor, He-Man, Mossman, and Hero, of all things. Hero didn't sell because nobody's ever cared about Hero. Mossman didn't really sell. Skeletor didn't sell well at first. He-Man sold pretty good. And then Skeletor started to sell. But basically, you had tons and tons of the aisle that was just overstocked with this stuff. Well, when the target buyer looks at that and they look at Wave 2, they don't see it as, oh, here's these other characters. People will want these, so we should order these and push these other ones out. They look at it as, oh, I've got shelves and shelves of Masters of the Universe figures that haven't sold, so I'm not going to order Wave 2. So it's an easy way to kill your line, because Wave 2 doesn't get ordered, or it gets ordered very small, and then Wave 3 gets ordered even less. And it just becomes it immediately becomes a cascading failure at retail.
Yeah, that's the exact opposite pattern of the original Motu characters, because Wave 1 was, the template, and then when they had Wave 2, you could find almost every single one of those characters because there's so many of them available. This is back in the early 80s. And what's crazy is that, I mean, despite the actual show itself of Motu, I thought that the figures were looking pretty good. Like, they're really, like, good-looking figures and very masculine He-Man stuff. But they also came out, I think, at the same time as a DreamWorks cartoon? A CG Motu cartoon came out with a...
Oh, yeah.
And I think that also kind of brought in some oversaturation to the markets. Like, well, which ones do you get? Which ones are the kids watching? That's probably what you buy a little bit more. But now it's like, wait, I have to buy my kid 2 He-Man figures for 2 He-Man shows that are kind of on at the same time. Parents aren't going to do that.
No, and actually the CG show was not bad. It was a reimagining, but it was like a decent reimagining. But the problem is that the way that they thought it was going to work was that, hey, we're going to do this line for collectors to keep them happy, and then we're going to do the CG line, which will be our main line. And that's not the way that it worked out, because the kids didn't get into the new CG show. They couldn't really find it because it's on Netflix. And none of these things, it's rare for any of this stuff. Like Cartoon Network, the only cartoon that ever really was able to sell merch from that was Ben 10. Because it's just not in enough households to carry a major retail line. Same thing with Netflix. Now, the difference will be K-pop Demon Hunters. If they can keep that hype train going when those toys come out, those will be hot as hell. But it's a fluke, because it's not like when we were kids and there were 3 channels and everybody watched the same stuff. It's so splintered and fractured now that you can't capture enough of an audience a lot of times to carry a retail line at a big box store.
Yeah, that was one of the big complaints I remember hearing at Cartoon Network, especially when the Young Justice series came out, because those first 2 seasons were amazing, but it was you couldn't find or watch Young Justice anywhere except for Cartoon Network, which meant that the toy line, while out there, was not, the show being the commercial for that toy line, was not hitting the broader market demographic that needed to. And then what happens? Well, Cartoon Network cuts it, and then it gets subsidized by some other smaller studios. And then what do? They say, well, if you make it a little bit more in line with the current trends of things, maybe you'll be able to keep the show on for another 2 seasons. And it's sadly struggled to try and be the show that it was while incorporate certain ideologies that I don't think anyone on the writing staff were really committed to, but they're just trying to make it work for their universe and just did not deliver.
Yeah, I was glad that my episode was just all action and didn't have any of that. Like, I got to just write just some banger action and have a lot of fun with it. I didn't have to do a lot of like interpersonal relationships or this character realizes that they're non-binary or whatever. Which would not have been to my strengths. But yeah, those first two episodes those first two seasons were amazing. I wanted figures of all of the characters. They made me, to Brandon Vietti and Greg Weisman's credit, and Greg's a friend of mine. Love that guy. To their credit, they took characters from DC that I had never given a damn about and made me love those characters and want figures of them. Clarion the Witch Boy, Cheshire, Simon.
Oh, dude, when Cheshire Cat was released, I got hired in the props department to work on Suicide Squad, and they were debating doing Katana or Cheshire. So I got to make a 3D rendering of the Cheshire mask from that Young Justice series. Put it into a physical model because they're like, well, we like that. We just need to give us the base, and then our makeup artist will like deck it up to look a little different. I have it here, like in my apartment still.
I want to see a picture of that.
Nice.
Yeah, I'll send you some photos of it because it's super rough, but like it's what we started to. And then when we're about to present the model, they said, yeah, we're going with Katana just because we want to. And David Ayer's got a better vision for that character, or maybe he's like, Katana doesn't speak, so that saves him from extra dialogue.
Maybe. She only has a couple of
us
lines in that movie.
And they're in Japanese, I think.
Yeah.
At least they gave us the great line, "This is Katana. She's got my back. Her soul traps the souls of its victims or whatever."
Yeah.
I'd advise not to get killed by her. I want to see the Ayers cut, man.
It's not going to be that much. I mean, it's the same footage. It's just cut in a bit more passable way because I was on most of that set and I saw what it was, and everybody on the crew were like, "We're happy we're working, but this is a bad movie." Like, it's really bad.
It was, dude. I have a friend that's a pretty relaxed guy. He walked out of that movie. He threw his hat on the ground and said, "What the fuck did I just watch?" And this isn't like he wasn't trying to be funny, and he wasn't trying to like get a rise out of us. He just hated that movie, and that's how like he was a normie. So I'm thinking, man, if he hates this movie, I wonder how other people are gonna feel. And well, it was just trash. I don't even like James Gunn's Suicide Squad that much. I know a lot of people like it more, but I don't need it.
So I'm typing this out, but I'm also going to say it. Is Sly asked in the chat, since I was on Young Justice, what would my dream DC project have been? I've always been a comics guy. Like, it was fun to write animation, and I'd certainly do it again if offered. But I did a pitch at DC for a comic continuation of Justice League Unlimited. And the reason I was excited about it was a chance to write DC characters that I loved in versions that I loved in a universe that was not connected to anybody else's books. So I'd be able to write stories without being interrupted every few months for some lame crossover that I had to tie in. And I had an idea to expand that out into its whole little mini line if it was successful. But I got together with Lionel Castellani, who did one of the covers for Kneel Before Doomface. And we did a pitch, and the idea was he would draw and color an arc, and then he would have a couple of months off to do the next arc, and James Silvani would come in and do it because James Silvani can do the Bruce Timm style really well as well. So we were going to trade off artists, for each arc, so that nobody got burned out, and it would keep us, on a good schedule. And we were going to go back, and the pitch for the season, because the idea was that we would kind of write it like it was in seasons. We were going to show. There's a line in Batman Beyond where they talk about the near cataclysm of 2008, which is when Ra's al Ghul almost won. And so we wanted to go back and tell that story. And so everything we did was going to build to that story, and it was going to tie in like, kind of elements from Doom and from Tower of Babel and, Rock of Ages and all these things that had been done in the comics. We were going to adapt those and move them around within the Unlimited universe to tell that story. And I wrote a full spec script for the second issue because I was like, the first issue has to be, reestablishing everything. So what I'll do is I'll write the spec script for the second where we start to get into the story. And so it opens with Batman and Wonder Woman on their very first date, because we were going to kind of tease the Wonder Bat thing, and then they, Bruce gets a call, and he's like, I have to go, and Wonder Woman, of course, is like, you're not going without me. And it turns out that the Suicide Squad is breaking into this house to, they're on a mission to get this thing that's in this house. And what you quickly realize is the house is the time displaced home of Kronos from Batman Beyond. And so we were going to tie all that in together with Ra's al Ghul, with Prometheus, Deathstroke, characters that we never got to see in Justice League Unlimited. And we were going to build out all that. So that was my dream project, was to do that. And we had a pretty good response to it. And then just all of a sudden got ghosted and never heard anything else on it. But there's 5 full pages fully drawn and lettered pages that Castellani did for the pitch that are out there. If you just look up my name on Twitter with hashtag Batman Day, it should come up. And then I just started a Substack. I should put like the pages up there, and I should put my full second issue script up there for people to read.
Yeah,
but,
you should.
But Paul Dini actually vetted the script for me, and told me he loved it. He thought it was great. The only thing he gave me was 2 notes on Harley Quinn.
Really?
Yeah, he was like, you could push Harley a little further here, like that she could make this joke, or she could, and I was like, oh, it's perfect, like. It was like one was like a dialogue tweak, like she could be saying something about this, and then the other was just like some physical comedy for Lionel to draw with her. So she's like hanging upside down on a swing set. Was kind of the idea.
Back when she was an awesome character.
Yeah, back when before she was annoying.
And before she was just female
Deadpool. Yeah. She's into roller derby or whatever. She's got knee pads. She looks stupid.
Well, I mean, they went from her being just a sidekick clown to over-sexualized object to, I don't know what she is now, Poison Ivy's lover with who looks like a reject from Rollerball. But
they both enjoy farts.
Yeah.
She's just like a fetish character for weird lesbians now.
Well, I hope they're enjoying reading her books while driving around in a Subaru. Like, it's just it's such a dumb version of the character. I liked her when she was just kind of evil and kind of. Thank you. I went to Portland and they're like, hey, seriously, somebody in Portland said to me straight up, they said, anytime you see a Subaru, it's driven by a lesbian. I was like, no. And then I started paying attention to it. And every time I looked around, I saw a Subaru with 2 ladies in the car. So
why is that? I wonder. What is
maybe it's like those
are
sandals
the seats
they wear
wide enough for them? I guess.
Yeah, so the Subaru is the Birkenstock of automobiles.
Yeah,
Fair
and
enough.
Portland's a weird place.
Yeah,
You know what, guys? Look up. I'll do that as my first Substack. I'll talk about the Justice League pitch that never panned out.
Do it. I just found the pages on Reddit and downloaded them.
Oh, on Reddit. So the funny thing on Reddit is people are like,
they're higher res on Reddit.
Yeah, they're like, I wish we would have got this. And then there's people on Reddit that are like, Eric Sparrow is a piece of crap, blah blah blah. Like the typical Reddit.
Yeah, Reddit. They're all gay.
Why am I saying this out loud? I can clip it. I just want a clip of you going, Reddit, they're all gay.
Clip it by all means.
Oh, I would never use it on the channel, but I'd be like, hey, Andrew, I got that soundbite. Anytime you text me, it's just going to go, Reddit, they're all gay.
That's the moment. That was Andrew's defining moment.
It really is. It makes me so proud of this show, and I love Lisa so much. So let's read this message from John Thomas. It says, Dave Fellatio should never be allowed near Star Wars again. He brought back Darth Maul as a patient one of No One Can Die, and lightsabers suck.
I didn't hate Maul coming back.
I was gonna say, full context. I just, I think we only have 4 episodes left in the final season. So this year, I finally binged through, Clone Wars with Mary, and so, I saw all of it from start to, again, the last handful of episodes of the final season, whatever it is, season 7. And I actually all the stuff with Maul and Savage and the Night Sisters. Like I already loved a lot of the Dathomir stuff due to the EU and due to the Jedi Fallen Order games. Like I actually really like the Night Sisters stuff. I thought Maul was handled really well in terms of like how he was written.
The Mandalore stuff, with the exception of where it breaks from Karen Travis's kind of Mandalore, is great. If they could have found a way for those two to coexist, I would have really liked it. So actually my friend Marie, she would watch Clone Wars with me, and she flat out told me at one point, she goes, the only time I care about this show is when it's about Darth Maul. She's like, he's like the only character that I'm interested in. She's like, I like Obi-Wan well enough because it's Obi-Wan. She goes, but like Darth Maul, I'm like, yeah, this is a good story.
Yeah. I mean, Obi-Wan, I mean, that's kind of a gimme, right?
She also only cared about Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. when Ghost Rider was on it.
Oh, really?
Wasn't that one episode?
No, it was like...
Wasn't it Robbie Reyes that they had as Ghost Rider in that one?
It was Robbie Reyes, but she was like still like, oh, and Ghost Rider's there, I care. Otherwise, I don't.
That's not the real Ghost Rider. I only acknowledge Johnny Blaze on this show.
Okay.
No Danny Catchlove?
Nicolas Cage didn't play him in a film.
I got news for you. Nicolas Cage didn't play Johnny Blaze either. He played Nicolas Cage.
And that's why he's my favorite Ghost Rider.
I feel like my head's on fire, but it's all right.
I gotta take my face off.
Actually, he would get his
twist.
Right? He's Ghost Rider could eat a peach for hours. Guys, I gotta take off. This has been a blast as usual. Sorry we didn't get to the topic.
Are you though? Are you
Who
really,
could have
though?
predicted this?
No.
Hey, real quick. Never mind. That message was for Andrew. So, Aaron, thank you for joining us, buddy. Anything you want to tell the audience before you go?
If you guys are in New Jersey or you know anybody who's in New Jersey, I will be there this weekend at Legions Con. I will be there painting custom heads for your Legions figures. And I'll have copies of Kneel Before Doomface Preview Edition there if you want to check it out. So come out and see me if you're in New Jersey.
Cool.
Aaron, if I was close to New Jersey, I would definitely come to hang out.
I know. I'd be like, come on, Jeff. This is going to be... Plus, you know what? You would end up mad at me because you'd be like, I spent $2,000 on Legions figures. I don't even know what this is.
And I don't even have space for this. Like, I got the new Back to the Future box set, and I'm like, I got to keep this in the box for a while. I don't know where to put this shit, so...
That's what I'm saying. We need the compound. One of us has got to hit the lottery, man.
Folks, help Stealing Solo 2 make $1 million, and I'll buy us a compound. There
you go.
Aaron, thanks for joining us, buddy. We'll talk to you next time.
All right. Later, guys.
See ya.
See you, Aaron.
Andrew, I have a message from Shrubbles Away that says, hey, Andrew, June Lockhart died. Yeah, I don't know what year she died in.
Oh, boy. It had to have been post the Lost in Space remake.
Wow.
So she's been dead for at least 25 years.
I did not know that.
Well, that's when the Lost in Space remake. Well, that was almost 30 years ago, 27 years.
Actually, no, she died 2 weeks ago.
Oh, shit. Hey, it's news to me, Andrew. You can't be made fun of right now.
She was 100 years old.
What a life.
I am winning.
Yeah, that's pretty amazing, actually.
I don't know if you can say that you're winning when June Lockhart just made it to 100, but,
well, she died on the 23rd of October.
Oh, it was my birthday week. I was busy, caring about myself, being selfish and shit. Sorry, June.
Wow. Jeez.
I'm glad you like my blunt nature.
What the hell? That's funny, though.
Also, our friend Justin Booth has become a YouTube member. Justin, thank you very much for supporting the channel. Welcome to the club. Folks, I have some cool stuff I'm going to bring you guys. I keep talking about it. I just got to sit down and do it. The Blockbuster, the last Blockbuster on Earth. We visited. We're going to go WCBS style. Well, not going to go. I've already done it. But I'm going to make you guys that video so you guys can check out the only Blockbuster left on planet Earth. We can go check it out together and see what's there. They might even have some toys in that store that we can check out. Dick Van Dyke turns 100 next month, guys. I actually really like Dick Van Dyke, so I hope he's healthy and well.
Yeah,
I do too.
He'll probably hold on for a few more years. He's still really spry. Like I've seen him do interviews very recently. Like you'd not think he's 100.
I think he said something about how he does exercise just to spite people now or something.
Yeah.
That's actually pretty funny. I mean, clearly he took good care of himself. So combine that with probably some pretty decent genes, and he's.
Well, there was a
It's up
period of time in the late '80s where he was kind of getting heavy, and I think it was Mary Tyler Moore when they did a reunion show of the Dick Van Dyke Show that she kind of said, you should probably think about getting back into shape at your age because it's going to get harder to do things.
Yeah.
And I think that kind of triggered him to like do more exercises because even then, Mary Tyler Moore was still trying to maintain a pretty slender frame up until the day that she passed away. Like she didn't kind of like like other people when they get older, they just get heavier and bigger and wider. So yeah, and Dick Van Dyke's been. I mean, heck, he was in the Mary Poppins sequel, like only a couple of years ago at like 98.
Yeah.
Oh goddamn.
Yeah, so he's. And I would not be surprised if he appears in anything more in the next couple of years. Like he's still insurable, so.
You think he'll pop up in the new Rapunzel movie, which I have no interest or care about, but I see people complaining about already? Have you guys heard that?
Yeah, maybe. I don't know.
I know nothing about it.
It's not for us. And people are like, how can you say that? Like, Andrew, do you want to watch a Rapunzel movie?
Nope.
Yeah, me neither. But I can't wait till the actress says something silly so we can all watch videos about it.
Sure. Yeah. Tangled was a good animated film, though. I'll get that down.
I saw that once and didn't dislike it. I was also not sober when I watched it, but to each his own. It was a good time, I guess. But thank you, Justin, for joining us on the membership program. Guys, is there anything else you want to say? I know Aaron cut out, but we've gone over 2.5 hours, and I gotta be up and take care of some more business. So,
likewise, yeah. No, I think we were very successful in not talking about the thumbnail subject today.
Yep.
Yeah, folks.
I would call that a W.
Yeah, they're trying to call the. They're saying Star Wars is having a Snyderverse style comeback. I don't see that at all, but whatever.
So I mean, Disney Star Wars has already been not making money, so it already did its Snyder thing.
Heck, I mean, the way it treated Luke and kind of crapped on the character and what it stood for. I mean, Zack Snyder did that with Man of Steel and followed up with the, Batman v Superman. It's
his MO.
Yeah.
I guess, sure, why not? They're doing it. Congratulations. Nobody will watch it.
Yeah, it'll be a 4-hour movie nobody cares about.
Yeah.
I will say, what is funny is that Zack Snyder is so out of work that he's been posting stills from his DC days on Instagram, trying to get some attention. And it's like, if you're a real director, you'd be too busy to actually do this. So clearly, you're in trouble, buddy.
Mm-hmm.
You have any sympathy for him?
Not at this point.
No. I mean, I think his own ambitions and ego pushed him into directing when he really should be a director of photography and not a studio director.
Mm-hmm. Agreed. I have all the sympathy in the world for what happened to his family. Mm-hmm. But as a creative, nope.
Yeah, me neither. I was just asking a silly question. Give the audience something to think about before we go. But guys, folks, thank you for watching. Stealing Solo is about to launch. I will have more to talk about, more videos, more excitement, more hype, all kinds of stuff. I have my cover back. I pretty much approved it, so I'm happy with that. But I'm waiting on my B cover to get finalized because I don't want to launch this thing. Worst case scenario, it launches on Tuesday. I wanted to shoot for this Thursday, but worst case scenario, it would be better, really, to launch it with Andrew and Script and Aaron. We're all writers and such. And it'll be a lot of fun. We'll get some more people on, too. So, folks, worst case scenario, it's next week. But this is a finished product, and it is ready to go, and I'm so excited to bring it to you. Let's break records with this book. That way we can do all kinds of cool WCBS stuff together. You can send us on location. Like, hey, Jeff, because Stealing Solo was such a hit, we want you to go to... Where should we go, Andrew? They say go to Japan, we go to Japan. I told the guys, if we cross a certain threshold, I'm taking them on a Euro trip to drink across Amsterdam and a couple other countries. So,
nice.
we'll turn it into channel content. We'll be able to turn it into a big thing, and everybody likes more world-class content. We want to put the world in world-class.
Can write it off.
Yeah. I literally was about to say that as I said it, and I was like, maybe I want to, whatever. It's all win, okay? It's all win.
I think that's just a W all around. A world-class W.
We need to send Dion to Peru for no real reason. Folks, you have the power. If you want to see Dion Green in Peru, help Stealing Solo cross, you'll know the number very soon. But it needs to be a big figure. But help us cross that. We have tons of tiers, tons of perks. I've mapped everything out. We even have limited to 10, a super limited edition Stealing Solo where you get the original sketch cover variant that I only have a couple of. Like, I have them here. That's it. And then there are a few limited Stealing Solo boxes. So if you bought the Phantom Menace edition and you got the super deluxe version, you got a custom printed box. It was black. It said Stealing Solo the box. I have, I think, 10 of those. And that's what we're going to offer for the super deluxe edition. There's only a couple of those left. So if you're like, on the fence, you might not want to wait past day one because 10 people, I think 10 people will bite on that one pretty quick. So that's all I'm going to tell you guys. Believe me, we'll hear. You'll hear all about it next week. I'm as excited as you, but I like to show more than tell, and well, comics are a visual medium. So, Script, anything else you want to say?
No, it's always been a pleasure to be on the panel with you, gentlemen, and having all this wonderful chat listen to us this evening. So, yeah, have a great one until we see you next time.
All right, folks. And Andrew, you're all good, right?
Yes, sir.
All right. Well, folks, until next time, be smart, be safe, be cool, but always be excellent to each other.
Say his name.